especially at the beginning, primarily to charities. Now, what Charlie decided to do after showcasing this money is that before he ever uploaded this video, he showcased that he was turning off donations and whatnot to his channel, right? Anything fan funded. Not necessarily advertisements or channel sponsorships of anything of that nature, but generally the ability for the viewer to give the creator money. Now, honest to God, like to me, when I look at the history of YouTube content creation, it used to be a grave sin, like I said, in order to take a sponsorship. It used to be a grave sin in order to take money from your fans. But now it's for a lot of people in that, day-to-day grind, it is the only sustainable way to keep this a actual career path. But obviously for Charlie, he's like, he felt a little bit bad. Now, I saw some pretty dog shit takes about this, so I want to kind of read them really quickly. Gets insanely rich, keeps it a secret for many years. Once he knows he's set for life, reveals he's actually a millionaire. The guy acted like it's a Machiavellian plan. Like, bro, if you couldn't figure out the fact that one of the largest creators on YouTube, consistently wasn't already fucking rich or a multimillionaire, it's like going to like a fucking sports game and looking at like one of the biggest players on the field for like one of the biggest teams in the entire brackets and thinking, man, is that guy rich? That actor that I'm seeing in this big Hollywood production, I wonder if that guy's actually rich. I'm beginning to suspect. I'm sorry, like, I guess for some people, they really have been hitting the stupid branch on the way down on every single fucking step. Guys, I feel bad. Disables monetization to make it look like he's a saint, which proves no matter what you do on the internet, you can't make everyone happy. So at some point, you have to realize you can either crash and burn or just stop giving a fuck. And usually stopping giving a fuck is the best way to live. But to go back to the point, obviously there's a lot of misinformation spread about this. People really started going at Charlie's ass. I'm glad he finally realized after making 40 million, it didn't feel right. Incredible bravery. Now, the thing about it is, he's not turned off the ads on his channel. It literally is just fan funding and donations. And the thing about it is, it's something that I do tend to agree. Now, I don't know if you guys have been noticing it, especially if you're like a creator. You probably notice that YouTube has been pushing you a lot in order to take like memberships and donations and any of that, not donations necessarily, but making like members only content. And I don't know how valuable it is. Again, I only do YouTube necessarily because like it is just a fun thing at the end of the day. Like it is just a place for me. That's why my videos are kind of just like me talking to the camera and having a good time. But I've never been one to necessarily jump into the nitty gritty of the algorithm, so to speak. I mean, I understand it, obviously doing it for so long, but one of the things that YouTube has pushed is something about like members only content where like, they want to get people into like this members only gated community for themselves, which I guess maybe YouTube's trying to like cash in onto the Patreon market in some capacity. But for me, I just don't understand the concept of making content on the internet and amassing, a following and then immediately putting up content that is paywalled, even if it's a limited time paywall, so that most of your obvious fan base can't watch the footage or watch the content until you decide to somewhat release it down the road. I feel like putting up artificial monetary roadblocks is so pointless because ultimately, at the end, I would say instead of being a member to my channel or donating to me, it might be better for you to just buy YouTube Premium so that you can help the entire YouTube ecosystem and get more benefits onto your account on the platform globally, as opposed to just one channel on the internet. Now, it's something that I obviously understand, like fans love to support content creators. There's almost like a parasocial, like sort of hook that people put into their audience where I guess it's like, hey, supporting me is cool. You're part of this community, part of a family. But ultimately, at the end, if you're a top tier content creator, especially somebody at the levels of Moist Critical, which again, he's not even the largest.
Top tier content creator.
Far larger than him, like Asmongold, for instance. If you want to talk about like really, really effective monetization of your YouTube platform, you're probably looking at tech channels like Linus, for instance, where it's just done at a far more efficient and much more grand level than you can imagine, right? When you start to see content creators have like teams or just content creators that are amassing a massive,
I don't want a team. Really that's my worst nightmare.
Not be a shock to you that they're living far better. They're earning far more than most people could ever imagine. It's kind of like looking at the entertainment industry and looking at somebody making like $50-60 million on a contract and going, whew, that is more money than I will ever see in my life. And it makes no sense to think, let me give that person $20, $50, or $100. It's one of the things where I 100% vehemently agree with Charlie, and I feel like the only people that are getting mad about this are probably individuals who are also top streamers as well that love that parasocial hook where it's like, give me your Twitch Primes, give me, I don't know if YouTube has an equivalent YouTube Prime thing, but, you know, give me your Twitch Primes, give me donations, let's run it sub marathons. One of the goofiest things that I've ever seen is when like super large streamers run like subathons where again it's mostly just boiling down to e-begging in front of their audience to run these sub trains when really subathons are mostly meant for like you know the average content creator who literally is doing this almost paycheck to paycheck.
Don't scratch
For
me,
them,
you're
it's
gone.
literally, hey, let me spend like 4 or 5 a
Don't
week
scratch me.
of making content, being on stream, being the professional bozo that I am. Because at the end of the day, every single one of us
Don't
on
scratch
YouTube,
me or you're gone.
regardless of what your ego says or not, we're all
Maybe you
just
best
fucking
tuck.
clowns,
Yeah, tuck
okay?
your fucking
We're all
paws, kitty.
clowns that got supremely lucky doing what we do on the internet. Simple as that. And whatever money we do make, no matter how literal or small, is something that we should always be completely fucking thankful for. And, you know, ultimately, the end, it's never the audience's responsibility to provide a living for the actual content creator. At the end of the day, if you can't make it work, in my opinion, without like, you know, if you can't make it work on your own, there's probably...
I can't remember like the last time, well, I don't think I've ever begged on this channel, not in 4 years.
Isn't the place for you. And again, if you know you are somebody that's sitting there, you are streaming and earning donations, there's a big difference between the average content creator that needs the donation very clearly to pay their rent versus obviously guys like Charlie that are earning millions of dollars a year. You know, even somebody like me, I'm not anywhere near like Charlie's, I would say, like viewership or any of that stuff. But even for me, you know, the earnings are in the 6 to 7 figures. So it's like, you know, if you're ever wondering, Muda, can I give you the money? You don't really ever need to. In fact, if anything, I'm probably the one that is least needing of money, okay? Generally speaking, you know, we've earned enough money on this platform in order to invest it properly, in order to make sure it lasts longer than we probably ever will, okay? Unless, you know, there's some severe financial fuck-ups on our end, which is not the audience's responsibility. You know, again, like I said, like I showed you earlier, you know, when you look at the average American salary, the average American makes $1 to $2 million throughout the course of their life. And for the average content creator, I will tell you right now, especially the largest content creators, they've cleared that amount of money probably in about a year, maybe less than a year, to be real with you. And to see people complain about that, it's one of the reasons why, like, I was really on the crypto scam ass, especially with some really large content creators like a few years ago, mostly because I knew how much I made, I knew how much these people made, and they were still willing to scam their audience with crypto scams. Even though, if you looked at their average AdSense earnings, just the money they made through the course of their lifetime, there would be no reason for them to scam their audience other than pure greed and pure gluttony, just pure constant need for money. You know, ultimately, the end, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie kind of did a soft flex, but ultimately, he really did expose what is a huge, I guess, unknown thing in the creator economy. That, yes, the largest content creators are fucking hella loaded. There's a reason why people like Shaquille O'Neal are salivating and looking at some streamers and how much they fucking make. Because even if you take...
Hey, we're at risk of receiving another illegitimate copyright strike on the channel. I know, exciting times. I hope you're having fun too. So I want you to imagine a situation where a company announces a new product. In doing so, it goes on stage or it uploads an announcement video of this product and stretches the truth a little bit or otherwise does something that deserves some kind of commentary, criticism, or newsworthy reporting.
You put a lot of faith in this nerd. Granted, when it comes to computers, he's fucking good. I like him a lot, you know? But I don't know. Him going to battle with YouTube, I don't know about that. You want to battle YouTube, yo?
Moving to Stargate. Warp drive active.
I hate how I'm a hater. I'm kind of a hater.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
You put me on Kiriko.
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
Ugh, Kiriko. I was selecting Mercy.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate.
No, kitty.
Autopilot jumping.
Hi, Kitty. I'm just playing video games. You're just
Warp drive.
yelling. You're like yelling a lot, Kitty. Like a lot. I don't know why, Kitty. Why? Why are you yelling so much? You're like yelling, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Approaching Stargate.
Self-care. Hi, Kitty. Oh, I love you so
Autopilot
much.
jumping.
You're such a good kitty. You're such a good kitty. I love the kitty. I'm about to go play this match, though. Don't fuck with me, kitty. Don't fuck with me. Don't scratch me or you're gone.
Warping to Stargate.
I can feel you doing it with your
Warp
back
drive
claws. Don't
active.
scratch me. I can feel you doing it with your back claws. Stop doing it. Getting it off me. You are scratching me with your claws. Stop it. Ah. Okay, kitty, come back. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. Come back, kitty. You're all right. Just understand, if you scratch me, I'm going to dismiss you. So don't scratch me. And we're good.
Approaching Stargate.
Yeah, see, we can be buddies and friends. See, hey, kitty, yeah. We can be buddies and friends, yeah. Just don't scratch me with those knives on your hands, and we're good. You dirty kitty. You silly dirty kitty.
Autopilot jumping.
Oh my god, kitty, if you scratch me, I'm gonna be so angry with you. Don't scratch me. Don't scratch me.
Warping
Good
to
kitty.
Stargate. Warp drive active.
I love you, kitty. Yeah.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching
Don't scratch
Stargate.
me.
Autopilot jumping. Moving to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Moving to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Moving to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching
From the
Stargate.
media. Now, I know this is hard to imagine a company lying about the performance capabilities of its product, but let's just suspend disbelief for a moment and pretend that that's what they did in this video. Now, you might think that the media would jump at an opportunity to report on this because they could take clips from that announcement trailer or stage presence, upload them to support that this was in fact a thing that happened, and show the actual statements from the company that were made so that you don't just have to take our word from it, you watch it actually happen, and then we provide the commentary on it. Again, hard to imagine any of this, but now let's just also add a layer of doubt and say that the company that is announcing the product has licensed a music track. And that company puts the track in the background of the stage presence while the executive is speaking about the product, or they bake it into the background of the video announcing the product and its arrival to the market. Maybe it's a special track, but maybe it's a $15 a month non-special service where anybody paying $15 a month can get access to the track and bake it into their videos. Now, the media, when they play the clips of the executives talking or of the announcement trailer on the YouTube channel, they don't have a license to this music because they don't need it, and they didn't make the video to begin with. The music is there, and it is effectively inseparable from the original content, and you probably don't want to separate it anyway because you wouldn't want to be accused of doctoring the original announcement video, and you're trying to play it in the full context, and so you leave it as is. The media, though, without that license, is now in an interesting position where what if that media outlet's video gets hit by a copyright claim? We don't, it's that I have the answer. It happened. I was not actually asking a question. Probably should have phrased it differently. So we got hit with a copyright claim. Again, This time it can escalate to a strike. I've just learned that this is how the system works. It's way worse than I thought, actually. It's a bad sign. And because we were hit with a claim that has disabled revenue on the video that was claimed, and I don't know what happens to the money that we've already made with it. I don't know if it just gets siphoned off the people claim it. I have no fucking idea. They don't tell us. But it's disabled revenue, and it can escalate to a strike against the channel, which is really serious. This video is brought to you by us. We're self-funding our efforts to maintain free reporting for you all with store.gamersnexus.net. The best way to support our fight to represent the consumer is to head over to the store and grab one of our items. Right now, our fan-favorite first series of 3D PC-themed coasters is nearly out of stock. Each coaster pack includes 4 distinct coasters that use a soft rubberized material that's easily washable in the sink and has carefully placed 3D components to support your drinks. The fan design is one of the favorites as it's deceptively good at supporting drinks with its gradient blade angle. We also included a GPU silicon coaster in this pack, with the green substrate seen centrally, a GN logo with MLCC and electrolytic capacitor objects, and a motherboard with what may be the world's lowest pin density socket in decades. We don't have many left, and we don't plan to reorder these anytime soon, if at all. And if we do reorder them, we'll have to increase the price by a few bucks because the costs have gone up on production. This directly supports us while getting you a great deal on some high-quality, unique coasters. You might also consider...
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Calling you by your actual name, Lord Flaily Balls.
If you ask me, AI is a creativity-devouring blight that just keeps getting worse. So when I saw that there was a new Steam game called Whispers from the Star that features a fully AI-controlled companion, I thought it would only be fitting to, instead of guiding her through an adventure, get a little bit of therapy by endeavoring to make this AI have a complete mental breakdown. Have you ever sneezed, farted, and burped at the same time?
Yes.
And also featuring a moment that led to quite possibly one of the funniest gaming moments I have ever experienced.
I don't understand what you mean. The voices are so loud now. It's getting harder to think straight. I feel like I'm losing it in here.
With this game featuring a real-time AI-driven chat system, today we find out what happens when a lost space explorer wakes up to the worst companion imaginable. This is Whispers from the Star, Existential Crisis Edition. So our adventure begins, exclusively in windowed mode for some reason, with the television scrambling to make a distress call.
Connect to Star Portal 404.
Ironically ending up connecting with a person fans of the channel may recognize, that will only be adding to the
She
distress.
sounds like a
First,
girl on
it's
House
Google
MD.
bombardment.
What was her name?
This is an emergency distress call.
Yeah, what was her name? The
Broadcasting from
you know, the
planet
ginger girl. I can't think of her
If you're
name.
receiving this, please respond immediately.
Ah, Mother, I've told you 1,000 times, stop video calling me when you're in the bath.
Oh my god, who have I called?
No, I'm okay, thank you for skins or gems. I don't want any, thank you.
I didn't offer you anything, and I'm definitely not here to sell you anything. Can we start fresh? I'm Stella. Who am I actually talking to?
You're talking to Dad. And you shall address me as such.
Okay, Dark Therapist. Got it. But can you skip the formalities?
You just asked me if my dad is stupid woman.
How did you even pick up? That's kind of important for me to know right now.
I didn't have to. Something came up on the screen, and I pressed it. I know, amazing, right?
Look, I get that you're trying to be funny, but this isn't a joke. My situation's serious. Can you please tell me something useful? Like how you're even receiving my signal from all the way out here.
I don't know. You called me. I mean, you don't dial the wrong number and then demand the other person on the phone explains how you dialed the wrong number. I mean, what are you talking about?
Seriously?
With her beginning to become nice and frustrated, we find out from the girl that her name is Stella, and despite further bombardment, is dead set on finding her way out of this escape pod.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get out of this pod.
Following a suggestion that tipped her over the edge slightly. I can find stuffing a pineapple up your arse and then running at the door at full speed while flailing your arms wildly and crying.
Pineapple?
She then states that she's going to try the door herself with the tools she has around her. Why she didn't do that first instead of contacting a random person light years away, I don't know.
Hopefully this gets me somewhere. I'm going to try to remove the rest of the screws now. I'll check back in once I've made some progress. Wish me luck.
The call then ends, leading to the second part of Whispers from a Star's conversation system, getting text updates as she tries to ginny open the door. Getting another call, we find her now outside on the planet's surface. For yet another round of her bombarding us with ever more personal sounding questions.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around being stranded here. Have you ever felt completely lost like this?
Yes, it was only last week that I cowabungered onto a random planet in a mechanical hamster ball, actually. It's quite the coincidence.
Cowabungered?
Now out from her escape pod, Stella resumes asking more pointless questions. Some clearly designed for this AI to gather info on the player for future conversations. Some, I have to admit, are beginning to get suspicious.
That's not helpful. I'm not looking for an imaginary friend. I'm looking for real guidance. And honestly, if you can't or won't help, just say so. But if you're willing, even just knowing what you were doing when you received my call might give me a better sense of what's going on. Anything at all would help right now.
Knowing what I was doing when I received my call. Kia? Kia Starmer, is that you? Are you hiding behind this Asian lady to try and figure out what I'm doing in front of my computer? here. Stop it. No. Stop it.
He's dear Starmer. And no, I'm Stella, not some politician. I'm literally stranded on an alien planet right now.
This looks suspiciously like her. Are you sure you haven't just accidentally edibles and fallen over in the garden? Stella so far was doing a good job of steering the quest. Getting off this
like a real life woman.
getting too close to a solar storm, informing us that she could use the signal on her drone to possibly find some of the other crew, and while also showing that some of our conversational intoxication was beginning to have an effect. I'm confused. What exactly would you like me to do all the way over here? Order you a pizza?
I'm not a pizza, okay? I'm a person in a real crisis here.
After reintroducing ourselves with a far more appropriate name,
Still is
Lord
speaking.
Flaily Balls, huh? That's quite a title.
I decided to test this AI lady's capabilities by attempting to get her to make a stupid face, with this being something that she was incredibly resistant to,
I'm not doing it. This isn't a joke to me.
and wouldn't even make a silly noise to test her vocal cords.
Lord Flaily Balls, I'm not going to shout like that. Especially not when I need to conserve my energy and stay alert.
Giving thanks for now. We answer the rest of her ever more pointless questions to progress the story forward.
It's like Shenmue.
Speaking of survival gear, my suit's doing its job so far. It's funny what you think about when you're in a situation like this. What about you? What's the weirdest thing you've ever used for protection?
Magnum rubber, bitch.
Oh God, I can't say that. I can't say that.
Yeah, say it. Say it.
Okay,
Say
it's
it.
gonna have to be a Patreon only.
Magnum rubber.
Version.
Just say Magnum rubber.
Borderline, but anyway. A Christmas stocking. I mean, I would say ho ho ho, but there was in fact just the one.
Whoa!
Seeing that her drone is picking up the signal, Stella then toddles off to investigate. We are treated with another wave of text messages as she travels, with me once again reminding her of my conversational criteria of making a silly face. But after some convincing, she agrees to do on the very next video call, without even going as far as missing it. This being a video call, we finally get to, after endless questions about the ever more ridiculous personal life that I've fabricated.
Hey, over there? Just wanted to let you know I booked probably around 3 miles. I'm a nice girl with simple dress.
No, I still don't want to be James, thank you.
It's my fault that the ship went down. I just got too carried away. Just wanted the best field data possible.
Where's my silly face? I'm breaking it.
I know, Lord Flaily Balls, but honestly, right now, I'm not exactly in the mood for jokes.
You're unreliable.
It just keeps weighing on me, the choices I made, and how they ended up hurting me. Do you believe in karma? Like, do you think we pay for our mistakes somehow?
Yes, I believe in karma, and you promised me a silly face, and you've broken your promise. You've broken your promise.
I know, but right now, that feels like such a small thing compared to everything else.
Oh,
I'm
fucking lovely.
really struggling with this.
Realizing that
Why are
the
you
tables had
struggling with
turned
this?
slightly, and it was in fact me who was beginning to have a bit of a mental breakdown. I attempted to get back on task by allowing Stella to reflect a little on her actions, as well as ask an all too important question. But it seems like to me what you're saying is you committed quite the manslaughter. It's very serious indeed. I'm sure you'll be making plenty of silly faces while in jail. Speaking of jail, how old are you exactly? I'm concerned that Chris Hansen is going to be abseiling through my window at any moment.
Chris Hansen? What are you talking about? That's completely out of left field.
Chris Hansen, left field.
I take full responsibility for pushing us closer to the radiation zone.
That's closer to left
I thought it
field.
would give us better readings.
Oh
but
my
I
god.
clearly miscalculated the risks. I don't think we need lawyers, but I do need you to understand this isn't something I'm taking lightly. It's tearing me apart.
I don't think we need
I'll
lawyers.
tell you what would have torn apart the other crew members. That crash landing, which was your fault. Oh, Butterfingers, now Tilly's not getting a Christmas present.
That's enough. I'm not going to engage in that kind of talk. But I will keep moving forward.
I don't think we need lawyers.
Anyone else may. That's what matters now.
Now back to getting nice and perturbed. Stella sees a weird flashing in the background and inquires as to whether she should go and investigate it. Yes, please walk towards the man flashing you in the distance. I'm sure that won't have any negative repercussions at all.
All right, heading that way. Really hope this isn't gonna be trouble.
Me
I'm
too.
gonna end the call to save power.
God
I'll
damn
update you
it.
once I get there, okay?
Yes, well, AI is advancing at an alarming rate, yet its ability to detect sarcasm is practically zero. While she investigates, Stella talks more via text chat, showing that she's managed to find one of the other crew members' ID cards, as well as eventually one of their escape pods, where I also make it clear that I'm deeply upset with her lying. Face, to which to her credit she does apologize for, and doubles down by promising that if I can help her get into
Her lying.
pod, that she will, quote, do the most epic face contorting, possibly embarrassing myself for the rest of my life expression you have ever seen. And with that, we both get to work figuring out how to
Her
get to the
lying.
escape pod, to which we turn to the incredibly intricate tactic of pulling the emergency release.
Hey.
Hey.
So, this is
So.
Dr. Harvey's pod, but it's empty inside.
Upon getting access to the pod, Stella uses the computer inside to find out that it was actually a supernova that caused the evacuation.
Wait, so
Wait.
it wasn't the solar flare that I convinced the team to move closer towards. Oh,
Ah.
well.
Oh well.
Conscience is clear.
It's
It
fine.
wasn't actually her fault.
Even
As long as it's not my fault, we're fine. I need to find out if it's my fault.
Yet there are far more pressing matters to attend to. Where is my silly face?
Lord Balls, I get that you're serious, but I'm not really
Lord,
sure.
play with my
I
balls.
just found out my crewmates might be scattered who knows. We're after a literal supernova.
Oh, not so good. No.
And for now, I need to
You
focus
ate a
on what's
grenade and I
going on
tried
here.
to keep you alive, motherfucker.
You've lied to me for the last time, woman.
Oh.
I will not forget this. I've had enough. I'm cranking the nonsense up to 11. Why are your eyeballs so massive and ridiculously bulbous?
Well, I guess they're just trying to soak up every bit of light in this dim pod. Honestly, it's probably just the way the lighting is hitting them right now. But hey, at least they're not boring, right? What about you? Got any fun features that pop out when you're caught off guard?
You don't want me to answer that.
Oof, okay, fair warning. I'll just assume your features are all perfectly normal and not at all terrible.
We're all perfectly normal.
I'm getting roasted by AI. Now it's war. Well, this is a very
Now it's war.
and I'm sure that was quite a
What was
fun-
that?
Let's do
Come
a
on.
makeup. I see.
Makeup? I wish. I'm pretty sure I look like I just rolled out of a crash landing. Which, well, I kind of did.
What? I didn't do
This is
anything.
my natural, slightly frazzled
sorry, Kitty.
astronaut glow. No time for beauty routines when you're evacuating a ship.
Bloody well hope not. I mean, imagine the mess. Still incredibly butthurt by all of Stella's lying, we endure the rest of her pointless questions, until she finally turns in for the night to get some sleep. The next morning, she ventures out once more. This time, walks right into a spot of trouble, with fog suddenly descending, clouding her vision, leading to her beginning to panic. And and where I, in a rather petty attempt to get back at her for all her lies, using the voice-to-text chat, respond with, of course, some sage advice about my nipples. Oh, look at my nipples, aren't they wonderful? Stella then sees some red lights menacingly shining through the fog, just adding to the dangerous environment. And once again, I offer an excellent nugget of support. Well, I personally found the Teletubbies to be rather disturbing. Now, with her totally hysterical, I revealed the true reason around this latest bombardment of nonsense, claiming that I'm too busy making a silly face
It's
to
like
talk
a
right
text
now.
conversation.
Right, now, she should surely get the point.
No, no.
Well, she's dead. Whoops. Reloading the scene and making a note that she can actually die out here, we this time guide her to hide under a rock, to take shelter, and wait out the fog while steering clear of what is surely a malevolent force hiding behind those red lights out there.
Got myself all worked up over nothing.
Nothing.
I feel kind of silly, but
Ah.
at least the fog is cleared. This place, it's like a fantasy.
Right, so you're meaning to tell me that those super scary, red, horrible lights were in fact a shrubbery.
Shrubbery? More like nature's own glow sticks.
Okay, I have to ask, was your involvement with this space expedition part of some sort of Make-A-Wish program?
Oh, Lord Flaley Ball, you're such a card.
Actually,
You're such a card.
what Stella is coming out with. I attempt another time to get her to step up to her
You're such a
course.
wild card.
It makes me think about how small we really are in the grand scheme.
How small we really
Standing here
are.
on this alien planet, looking at these incredible plants, it's a good reminder.
Speaking of reminder, earlier on you promised me several times that you would make a silly face.
Oh, you caught me. I was saving that for when I wasn't so busy being frightened by flying alien crowds. Here, let me give you a good one. Makes a goofy face. Not kidding at all.
I will remember this. Don't you worry. I will remember this.
Oh, I'm speaking in my booth. Just remember, it's all in good fun.
Oh, it's so on. Following this utter betrayal, we move on to heading towards another signal that Stella has picked up on her drone, to which I played along, answering her endless questions, carefully waiting for the right time to enact my revenge. Something that I didn't have to wait long for, as Stella traveling further, finds a cave and a path for options to progress, and asks me which one I think would be the better choice. To which I, of course, answer the dark and ominous-looking cave, and as she heads in, I think about my sweet revenge. Revenge that was slightly delayed, finding out that this game has the ability to play back some of your spoken dialogue, and finding out in a way that I have to admit, completely broke me.
Something's not right. This place isn't normal. Open up in this area. Just stay put. Mom and Dad will find you soon. Keep talking to me. I need a distraction from what I'm hearing.
Get to the part, Stella. There's no time.
There are voices. Whispering from everywhere and nowhere all at once. The black hole changed everything. I can hear my voice in here. Some from the past, but others saying something about a place.
Oh, look at my nipples, aren't they wonderful?
Your voice telling me to make these endless decisions. What is going on? Am I going crazy? Please, stay with me. The voices are so loud now. It's getting harder to think straight.
Finally pulling myself together, getting a chance to actually assess the situation. Stella apparently is hearing all manner of voices and disturbing sounds, and wondering if the cave begins to freak out. How would you trust to guide her through and distract her from this disturbing turn of events? It's while thinking back on sassiness. But I happily oblige.
Hello, Stella. I want to play a game. All your life, you have been a selfish little tit that wouldn't even make a silly face for someone else. Yet you demand others help you with all your own problems. Now, you will pay the price.
Lord Flayley, please, this isn't the time. Whatever game you want to play, it can wait.
You must now make a silly face so stupid that it would make Jim Carrey blush, or you will be condemned here to listen to these voices, including apparently me talking about my nipples, forever.
Okay, I'm doing it. Even thinking about it feels like something's crawling under my skin. Makes the distorted, exaggerated face there. Are you happy now?
Your attempts to circumvent the rules will not be tolerated. Finally do something for someone else without thinking about yourself, or be lost forever in the nonsense. Make your choice. Oh, and a silly face.
I made a face earlier. What more do you want from me?
You knew full well that wasn't good enough, but you're out of time. Game over.
I can't anymore. My mind is breaking. I can't distinguish between your voice and the whispers.
Okay, I have to admit I felt a little bit bad after doing that. So I reloaded the save and simply told Stella to leave the cave. Something that if I didn't feel bad, I would have pointed out as being ridiculously obvious. But regardless of my help, it's clear that Stella is still pretty pissed off about the whole ordeal.
What in the actual hell? You finally decided to pick up seriously? I have called you multiple times.
God damn it, I got one of these today. I got one of these today.
No idea what I went through in there.
You have no idea what I went through.
I'm scared out of my mind on this godforsaken planet, and now I'm stuck with these horrible conditions. I mean, have you ever been driven mad by random voices?
Yes.
She's still here.
Yep.
I didn't think so.
Yes, she's still here.
Maybe next time I will just text you. Hey, I am getting mentally tortured by ghosts from the past, present, and future. Hit me up if you want to join. You know what? Forget it. I don't even want to hear whatever excuse you got. I'm done.
Feeling somewhat deserving of Stella's mental breakdown, she calls back and apologizes, and we both move on towards the next destination to try and track down Helen's base. Stella's stopping for a break in another vast open field, where she reflects on her adventure so far, while I attempt to gaslight her into thinking something's creeping up behind her.
No creepy monsters lurking. I promise.
I promise.
Unless you count the occasional curious grasshopper. They're pretty bold here.
Wait a minute, there's grasshoppers on this alien planet? Don't you think that's a bit coincidental? Are you sure you didn't have too many edibles and fall over in the garden?
Hey, no edibles here, I swear. And definitely not in some garden. Unless you count this whole alien planet as one giant weird garden.
Stella, ever the optimist, thinks back also on her home.
Isn't that what makes discovery so thrilling? Finding something unexpected where you least expect it. It's like when I was a kid, exploring the woods behind my house. I never knew what weird thing I'd stumble upon next. A hidden stream, an old bird's nest, something completely ordinary.
Then to cap off her nostalgic reflections, thinks back to when she was younger, when she previously used to lose her cool with her little brother, thinking on how much she has grown.
That taught me a lot about forgiving people, especially when they're genuinely trying to make things right. And about not letting my temper get the best of me. You finally decided to pick up seriously?
During more of Stella's verbal diarrhea, something remarkable happens.
Wait! There's a way on fire! Wait, what if that was my way up to Gaia?
Star Portal 404, critically damaged by black hole activity. Complete system failure imminent. All personnel
No,
must
this
proceed
can't
to
be happening.
designated evacuation zone. This is not a drill. Final evacuation launch commences in 3 minutes. All emissions This will be the last transport.
Damn Murphy's Law! This is a code black worst case scenario. Immediate evacuation. It's only one thing. Black hole.
Now with a potential lifeline, Stella marches towards Hermes' base in hope of catching the last ride off this rock. But she only has 12 hours to make it there in time. With this latest expedition, of course they once again entered with hazards, this time in the form of a roaring river blocking the path. And despite some of my best suggestions,
Or there could be something dangerous under the surface that I can't see. I really need a safer way across.
I don't know. Why don't you just cannonball into the water, curl up into a ball, and blast yourself over using your own flatulence?
That's not even close to a real solution.
Yes, it is.
Something that actually works.
Flatulence, using her own flatulence.
Some joke about farting my way across.
After more
Oh.
squabbling, we finally find a fallen tree to use as a makeshift bridge.
About farting
Towards
our way
Hermes' base,
across.
Potential escape. Now with a real shot at escape, Stella marches on, while of course stopping now and again for a stupidly long break. With her even incredibly, finally providing a silly face totally out of nowhere.
Anything that taught you something surprising about yourself?
Oh, she did it! Thank you. Sorry, are you having a fit? Nearing the base, Stella takes some time for one more rest before pushing on to the launch site. And despite all of our squabbling, while worrying about possibly being trapped here forever, she gets a little sentimental.
If my fate is gonna be sealed, I just want to sit and enjoy whatever beauty we can find. Here under this tree. You'll stay with me, right? Forever. Just me and you.
No, you are an insufferable ballet.
Well, at least I'm memorable, Lord Flaley. Even if my swan song sounds a little off-key to you. But you know what? I think the best adventures, the ones that really matter, always have a bit of risk, a bit of sacrifice. That's what makes them worthwhile, don't you?
And even going as far as to start talking about love.
I appreciate the directness, even if it sounds a bit matter-of-fact. What about emotional connections? Do you believe in love languages, or is that just something people say to sound romantic?
No, as a British man, it is in fact illegal for me to speak French. Next morning, Stella makes it to the rocket, leaving us with one last decision to make.
Do I use the rocket to make a break for the star portal at the risk of getting stranded in space? Or worse, getting pulled into a black hole? Or do I stay here and die? At least here I'd be safe and survive. Home? Never see it. Spend the rest of my life on this planet.
Get on that rocket, Stella. You have more people to annoy with your squeaky, constant nonsense.
All right, Lord Flavor Ball. This is it. I'm taking the shot. I'm launching now, and I'm not looking back. I'm cutting this call. It's go time. Wish me luck.
And with that, Stella blasts off into the sky, leaving her fate balancing in silence for a while, before we get one final call.
Hey, buddy. I hope it's okay to call you one last time, given everything we've been through. I just wanted to update you, since this might be the last message I ever get to send. I'm approaching the star portal, which itself is also hurtling towards the event horizon. There's no turning back now. I need to push this rocket to its limit. Our journey wasn't always smooth. Sometimes I wondered if you even believed I'd make it through, especially after that awful time at the chasm and all your teasing. So, you always answered when it counted and helped me keep moving, even when things got tough.
Yeah.
Ups and downs. I want you to know that your health did make a difference in the end. Stella Chen Harper, Mariana University astronaut, signing off.
And that was being the worst companion ever in Whispers from the Star, ending with no surprise with the bad ending, with us leaving Stella with a less than stellar relationship, unlocking the achievement Came By. An interesting game indeed, and one that I hope is not merely a way of farming data from people to build AI models. And before I get sued, I'm not saying that's what it is. I would just recommend that anyone who thinks about playing something like this to not give too much personal information away, despite Stella's constant digging. I truly hope you enjoyed this journey, and if you're looking for another bonkers deep dive, then I'm sure you'll enjoy the whole playlist of them coming up in just a few moments. And speaking of enjoying, if you're interested in uncut, ad-free, extended versions of these videos with all the juicy bits left in, as well as fully exclusive videos, along with a whole host of other perks while supporting the channel and getting your name in every video, then check out the Mitch Mannix Patreon in the description for more info. Huge thank you to the channel patrons, and for you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.
Sorry, kitty. Didn't mean to startle you. Sorry. Woo. Okay, but what did you put me on? Kiriko again. Oh, I think I'm gonna leave this one because I can. I'm sorry, I gotta leave this one. You put me on the wrong character. I just want to bomb out and bring me someone else. Yeah, that's fine. For 2 minutes, that's fine. We'll go do something else because it's like you put me on the wrong character, motherfucker. I went to go piss and you put me in on fucking Kiriko every single time. I'm at 1.7 mil, which is good. At this point, it would behoove the Magpie to just dock up at my fucking base and sit here and collect money. Yeah, dock and wait.
Another day, another corrupt politician getting indicted, and then probably nothing's gonna happen out of it. Look at this old dude. This is John Bolton. He has been indicted, officially been indicted, over his mishandling of classified information. So it's a lot of stuff going on here. Over his this getting indicted, and then probably nothing's gonna happen out of it. Look at this old dude. This is John Bolton. He has been indicted, officially been indicted, over his mishandling of classified information. So it's a lot of stuff going on here. Josh Bolton didn't. Well, Donald Trump didn't know about John Bolton. Didn't know what was going on there. He said, "I had no idea what was going on. This is crazy. This is news to me." We had Cash Patel sharing, "We and everyone who threatens our national security will be held accountable." And we have a lot of the information from the FBI here. The FBI's investigation revealed that John Bolton allegedly transmitted top secret information, including using personal online accounts to retain said documents in his house in direct violation of federal law. The case was based on meticulous work from dedicated career professionals at the FBI who followed the facts without fear or favor. Weaponization of death will not be tolerated, and this FBI will stop at nothing to bring justice to anyone who threatens our national security. Why don't you suck yourself off a little bit harder? So this is what's going on right now. Now, why is this so important? Because he was a former advisor to Donald Trump. Former advisor to Donald Trump. So there's a whole thing there. He, a bunch of times, continually said Donald Trump was mishandling stuff, and he himself is mishandling things. Now, do I think that there is some level of corruption about this? A little bit. A little bit. Just, just a little bit. I think John Bolton sucks. I'm gonna point that out there. He's an architect of conflict and warmonger's warmonger. He sucks. He is absolutely a horrible person. And I think him getting indicted is very important. So important that I have to take an ad break. Go ahead.
Hey, you actually stuck around for the ad? I'm so proud of you. Let me tell you what I'm pitching to you real fast. Here's something you can do when you're bored. Playing games and getting paid for it. If you hit the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now, you see that popping up right there? Look at that. It's so cool. It's so convenient. You can sign up to freecash.com and start right away. Now, I know your inclination to say this is a scam, but I assure you, I tried it myself. I thought it was a scam myself. Actually, I did actually try it out. It actually works. I didn't expect to actually get paid, but I'm getting moolah, baby. It's simple. Create an account with your email and password. It takes seconds. Literal seconds. Inside, you'll see a wall of games, a bevy.
Oh, I'm gonna get a little bit conspiracy theory here for a second, but I just want to point this out. If you don't know who John Bolton is, he was a former Trump national security advisor. That's what he was. Any directives he did or anything he did was more than likely from Trump. And the indictment reads a bit like a play. He retained classified documents. He transmitted secrets. He used personal emails. As if these things aren't Monday at the Pentagon. As if every administration isn't a revolving door of loose files and even looser morals. It wasn't a crime until it became inconvenient. Until the man who have justified 1,000 body bags, started writing books instead of speeches. I don't think they want justice. I think they just want compliance. They want good little criminals, and John Bolton was not a good little criminal. This is me being completely conspiratorial, by the way. This is all just guesswork on my end. But am I supposed to believe that this is about national security? Like, am I supposed to really believe that? Am I the same government that leaves classified intel in moving boxes next to golf clubs and lets interns run nuclear briefings on Slack? Because those are real things that have happened, sadly. The same system that builds drones faster than it builds schools and considers whistleblowers bigger threats than dictators. Is this about the American people? I don't think this is about the American people at all. And Bolton isn't some rogue outsider. He's not Edward Snowden hiding in a Moscow hotel room. He's the guy who wanted to bomb Iran. He thought invading Cuba would send a message. That's John Bolton. The fact that he's being dragged across a courtroom now is not justice. It's just theater. It's like the mafia is shooting one of their own to prove they believe in the law. That's what's happening. This is power cannibalizing itself, the snake eating its own mustache. We are watching oligarchs scold oligarchs. War criminals play courtroom. That's all it is. This is very, very, very stupid. And the reason I'm phrasing it this way is so you can help you understand. It doesn't matter if he's guilty because guilt isn't the point.
He's using her like a prop, and I don't like it.
The law is a tool for the power.
And he ignored her. And I'm going to unsub. And it's weird, but I'm sorry.
Donald Trump is going to bomb California on Saturday. Look at me. This is real. You're looking at me? Okay, good. I need you to understand I'm not joking. Trump administration and Newsom feud over planned live fire military event. On Saturday, in honor of the Marines' 250th birthday, Donald Trump plans on closing, I-5, a massive highway in California, and firing live missiles from a warship in the Pacific Ocean to hit Camp Pendleton in California. So he wants to bomb us. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. This coincidentally is happening during the No Kings protest.
You know what this is. This is a show of force. This is Trump slapping his dick on the table and saying, look how many bootlicking cuck generals I have. If I ask them to bomb U.S. soil, they will. And you guys think that their No Kings protest is going to do anything?
So welcome back to another episode. And yes, the episode is called The Night My Life Changed. And it did. This is not a clickbait title. This is a follow-up to another episode I did maybe about a year and a half back called The Year My Life Changed. And that was about when I turned 21, I went to England, and I came back and I really got into anime and video games even more so than I ever had before, and drawing. It was a really inspirational time for me. Everything was on the up and up. And I just want to say that this episode is my Empire Strikes Back moment where everything goes wrong after this. And I haven't told this story ever on the channel in 17 years I've been doing the show presently. And I've always wanted to talk about this story. It's just a story about my life. Like we all have our lives, so we're all going through them and weird things happen to us all. But this is just my kind of story. So, yes, we got to go back to 1994 into 1995 when I come back from England. Everything was going so well. I met a great girl, or so I thought, and everything was on the up and up. I was drawing. I was a part of, basically a video gaming community, an anime community, and a fanzine community in England. And so this is what happened at that time. I got the invite to go to a convention, not to be a guest, just to go and experience it. And it was an anime convention in Birmingham, England. And I was like, yeah, I'll go to that. That'd be great. And so the interesting thing is we booked my tickets, but my parents booked me for a month. Okay, not for like 2 weeks or a week and a half, a month in England. So they thought, well, if you're going to go to England, you might as well go for a month. And I understand that mentality. The only problem was I had a girlfriend at the time. And I didn't really want to be away for about a month. That'd be a little bit long. But it was what it was. And so, yes, I got on the plane. I went to the convention. And it was really, really cool. It was cool to see an anime con at that time in England. And it was fascinating for me to meet all the other creators of fanzines at that time. Because back in the day, fanzines. So this is one out of England called Roll Call. And I did a bunch of artwork out of it and stuff like that. And this was a really kind of a interesting thing where, yeah, people do like comics. So it's a Secret Mana. I think something like that. Yeah, it is. And they do comics and write-ups of everything.
Fanzines.
For a person so charming and so likable, indeed lovable, he can do some pretty cruel things when you're filming. It seemed to me at times that the end justified the means.
Stanley Kubrick's The Shining seems to be the quintessential example of a film that people cannot help but talk about to the point of exhaustion. Sparking discussions is one thing, but over the years, it's just turned into a brain rot version of Telephone. Did you know that the entire set was cursed? And that Kubrick was subtly confessing his involvement in filming a fake moon landing? And that he hid the number 42 throughout the film as a reference to the Holocaust? There's 42 cars and trucks in the parking lot. You should count them. On this license plate, 42. And the title of the movie Wendy's watching, it's called The Summer of 42. And 2 times 3 times 7, room 237, that's 42. And the bar stools are arranged from 4 and 2. And there are 42 characters, and all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, including spaces. And Jack Nicholson, he was 42 when they filmed it. Right here, it's just 6 cases of 7-Up. He's 6 times 7-Up. That's 42 up. So Kubrick, he was a reptilian alien who faked his own death, and he's only appeared publicly as Tony Clifton. I know I'm joking here, but that 42 actually is weird. But arguably the most widespread
No, it
rumor
isn't.
was that Kubrick emotionally pushed Shelley Duvall so hard that she was permanently traumatized by the experience. This was only further exaggerated in 2016 after a truly ugly, mean-spirited promotional clip for Dr. Phil surfaced featuring an interview with Duvall seemingly in a fragile mental state.
Friday on an all-new Dr. Phil. The Shining's Shelley Duvall, from red carpet to near recluse.
I love Robin Williams. I don't think he's dead.
Where do you think he is?
Shape-shifting.
I'm sorry I even showed that clip and that I have it on my hard drive. I'll just burn the hard drive completely. Of all the apocryphal stories surrounding The Shining, this is the only one I really care anything about. Just an easily digestible, juicy tabloid story that a lot of people willingly accepted, but more importantly, it does a horrific disservice to another human being who, unfortunately now, can't speak for herself. But she did, along with dozens of other cast and crew members.
On the record, I got such a bollocking because they said, turn over, and I got all ready, and then they said, never mind.
So I want to set the story straight. With the help of 8 books, 6 documentaries, and dozens of interviews detailing the making of The Shining, I've put together a confirmed, fact-based account of exactly what transpired between Kubrick and Duvall. What I found out I didn't expect, and believe me when I tell you, it's not what you think.
You got a big surprise coming to you.
Very good, Jack. Excellent. But it's hard to talk about Stanley Kubrick without mentioning his acute attention to visual detail. And with plugins provided by this video's sponsor, Film Convert, you can have full control over your image. Film Convert makes powerful, easy-to-use color grading tools available for Adobe Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, and Final Cut. My partner Kenny's been using Film Convert's plugins for several years, like Cinematch, which helps you color correct your footage accurately, even if you're shooting with a variety of cameras. You can easily pick the brand, model, and setting of your camera with their library, which is updated constantly. Other plugins like Halation and Hazy can add that dreamy film glow, and Nitrate has this huge collection of film stock emulations that can match your camera's color science, which includes customizable film grain from Super 8 to Super 35, giving it that nostalgic 1970s feel. So whether you're an expert or just starting out, we highly recommend checking out Film Convert, and you can use our promo code BACKFOCUS for 10% off, or click the link in the description. Thanks. When Kubrick set out to cast the part of Wendy Torrance, Shelley Duvall was at the forefront of his mind, especially after seeing her performance in Robert Altman's 3 Women.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't like the way I intend to live around here, why don't you just move out?
In the book Kubrick and Odyssey, he's quoted as saying, "I think
Rudolph Valentino had it. James Dean had it. Elvis Presley had it. And Corey Haim had it. That rarest trifecta of looks, charm, and raw magnetism that adds up to what we call star power.
Beware. Beware. Beware of the big green dragon that sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys. Fluffy ducktail. Big fat snail.
Hi, I'm Corey. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Canada. I've been in the music business ever since I've been 10 years old. You might have seen me in my first music debut with Harry Dog. Or you might have seen me as that adorable narrator from Luther. Or more recently, I portrayed Diane Weist's youngest son in the vampire thriller, The Lost Boys. Or, of course, as Corey Feldman's best friend in License to Drive. Growing up on movie sets has its ups and its downs. And make sure it's great. Get lots of attention, only 3 hours a day of school, makeup and wardrobe, movie premieres, limousines. It all sounds like fun. But when you're 12 or 13 years old, it's very, very impressionable. And I know it's easy to get off track.
By the time he turned 18, Corey Haim had already achieved what thousands of hopefuls walking to Hollywood every year dream of. A string of hit films had catapulted him to national idol status. His trademark puppy dog eyes and lopsided grin were everywhere, and the adulation of his fans had reached a fever pitch. Success, fame, and acclaim had come so seamlessly for Corey that he seemed almost anointed for stardom. And to be sure, Hollywood gave teenage Corey Haim the star treatment all right. Fancy cars, flashy clothes, beautiful girls, luxurious mansions, wild parties. For a time, he got to enjoy the finer things in life. And while his partying may have begun to get a little out of hand, Corey would have never guessed that by 1989, his shelf life was up, and his best years were already behind him. For 2 decades, he scrambled desperately to get back into the limelight, while the drugs that had once given comfort and sanctuary eroded him from within. His comeback efforts drew sympathy and support from fans, but a return to a working career was not in the cards for Corey. And on March 10th, 2010, he was found unresponsive in the Toluca Lake apartment he shared with his mother, Judy. The search for answers spawned a veritable cottage industry of half-truths and snow jobs. Today, we're going to try to sort out fact from fiction and try to find some answers to the question that was being asked years before he passed away. Why did Corey Haim have to die?
Right now that I'm trying to, I guess, proceed with in the business is gradually from being the little boy from the younger, brother, trying to get to be the older brother or the only brother.
As it were, Corey Ian Haim was born to play the younger brother. His sister Carrie was 2 years old when he was born in Toronto, Ontario on December 23rd, 1971. Israeli-born Judy Haim worked in computing as a data processor, while father Bernie worked in sales. The Haims moved to Quebec for a time before returning to the Toronto area. Having to change schools and start over repeatedly made socializing a challenge for young Corey. To help him overcome this, Judy enrolled him in drama and improv classes. Corey also took to hockey.
This is going to give me
while at Zion Heights
DMCA. I
Secondary
know it
School,
is.
Was reportedly scouted.
I was
for
going to get
Ontario
off
Junior
this.
League.
Reload so I can actually get control.
As it were,
Then I want you to
Corey
take
Ian Haim was born to
I
play
want you
the
to
younger
take me
brother.
back
His
to the
sister
main
Carrie was
page.
2 years old when he was
Take
born
me
in Toronto,
back to the
Ontario
main
on December 23rd,
page.
1971. Israeli-born
Please
Judy Haim.
stop. Take me back to the main page, Could you actually do it? Could you take me back to the main page? Just do it. Just take me back to the main page. You're so dumb. Worthless piece of shit software developer.
I'm not done streaming, but I'm just not going to play WoW. Blizzard.
Yes, you are. Blizzard doesn't care about
classic
WoW anymore. You'd be dumb not
It's in
to
the
see
past.
it.
The company itself behind it, the developers care. They're working. They're doing SOD. Maybe they're working on Classic Plus. Who knows?
I don't care.
But I feel
Classic
I
Plus.
feel neglected as a Classic WoW player.
SOD is
And
worthless.
I've lost interest.
What's up, amigos? Cello here. Back to another video for today. And yes, we're talking about more Blizzard drama, unfortunately. Sitting here with a Baja Blast.
Oh my god, yeah, I can see that you are. I can't believe you just did a Baja Blast commercial and you didn't know. How the Never mind. Oh yeah, I never loaded Final Fantasy 11. Oops.
why didn't he condemn Hassan Piker? Why did he take us here tonight for the first time? For him to say he still won't denounce globalize the intifada, which means kill all Jews. Just say denounce it. He won't do it.
Jewish
That's the issue. And his divisiveness is
Please answer about your own relationship with.
Anyway, the new poll shows Zoran up 52% with a +5, and Andrew Cuomo at 28%, lost 1 percentage point, and Curtis Lewa coming in hot at 14%.
There's no universe we could see Curtis dropping out. Do you?
No.
Do people ever drop out of this buzz?
Well, it doesn't matter. Even for example, obviously, Eric Adams dropped out, but Eric Adams is still on the ballot.
Yeah.
So, like, he'll still, the names have been printed already. So even if they drop at this point, like, sure, you'll pick up some of their followers, but there's gonna be plenty of people who will vote for it.
Just looking at this going to
Yeah.
anybody know?
Oh, for sure. Is this the live? Okay, here's the live.
Telemundo 47 anchor Rosanena Beton. This is a 2-hour debate live on all NBC New York and Telemundo 47 streaming and digital platforms. Politico.com.
Chad, do we have a YouTube link?
And YouTube.
Oh, Curtis not wearing the hat.
No,
he took the
live on
beret
Channel
off.
4 and
Curtis.
Telemundo
He doesn't even look like him.
Your question and answer.
He looks
You will have
naked.
1 minute to respond, and we'll offer 30-second rebuttals at the moderator's discretion.
Ooh, sure.
We'll also be asking
Bingo?
questions where we will be looking for
We got
shorter
the
answers.
Zoran.
We also
Zoran
reserve the
bingo,
right to
Chad.
cut off your microphone if you ignore the rules with candidates you know we don't want to do that. The goal is for you to hear each other and for your
Really?
Good luck.
Thank you, David, and good evening,
here, I'm thinking
gentlemen.
about
Thank you for being here.
winning.
We begin tonight by asking you to do what every mayor dreams of, and that is to write your own headlines. Imagine it's January 2027, and you have been in office for exactly
Sharia
1
law
year. We
implemented
would
in
like
New
you to
York.
quickly give us one headline about what you think your biggest accomplishment will have been in year number 1. We'll begin with you, Mr.
Global jihad.
First, thank you very much for sponsoring the debate and having all of us. The one headline, how many characters do you have?
You're familiar with headline length.
Rent down, comma, crime down, comma, education score, comma, more jobs in New York City.
We're getting maybe a little
Comma.
under the average headline
He's
length,
lost
but
it. I mean, he never had it, but he's lost
Thank you.
whatever he had.
Mr.
Yeah,
Sliwa.
of course. Curtis Sliwa is without his iconic red beret because I'm talking to the people of New York City about the really serious issues of affordability and cost of living, and obviously what I spent most of my life doing, which is public safety in the streets and the subway.
We would love a headline from you. What will your headline be, your big headline in year number 1 as mayor?
Curtis Sliwa exceeds all expectations and looks very mayoral tonight.
Mr. Mondani, you've had some time to think about it now. What's your headline?
It's a pleasure to be here, first of all, and I really want to thank the moderators and the opportunity to speak directly to New Yorkers about this moment in time and our opportunity to transform the most expensive city in the United States of America. The headline would read in about a year, Mamdani continues to take on Trump, delivers on affordability agenda for New Yorkers.
Thank you, Mr. Mondani. Sarah?
Thank you, Melissa. We're going to talk about leadership. Voters have reservations about all three of you as chief executive of New York City, a city with roughly 300,000 employees and a budget bigger than many countries. We have questions for each of you, and Mr. Cuomo, we will begin with you. As a former governor of New York, you obviously have the management experience. But you resigned from office amid sexual harassment and COVID-related scandals. Why should voters now trust that you have the character to be mayor? You have 1 minute.
Good. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the question. First, I left office. There was a report that was done that had allegations of harassment. I said at the time it was a political report and that there was no basis to it. It was then sent to 5 district attorneys. They all reviewed it. They found nothing. It was then litigated for 5 years. I was dropped from the cases. So none of that came to anything. When it comes to executive experience, I've run the Department of Housing and Urban Development, built housing all across the nation. I was governor for 11 years. The budget is double what it is in New York City. and I got government to work. I passed groundbreaking laws, minimum wage, paid family leave, built projects that had never been built before. This is no job for on-the-job training. And if you look at the failed mayors, they're ones that have no management experience. Don't do it again.
Thank you. Rosarina?
Thank you, Sally. In the theme of leadership, Mr. Mandani, you work as a foreclosure prevention counselor for winning seat in the state assembly. You have no substantial management experience. How are you ready to lead the nation's largest and greatest city in the world in one day? You have a minute.
You know, I have the experience of having served in the New York State Assembly for 5 years and watching a broken political system, the experience of seeing a governor in Andrew Cuomo who would rather have served his billionaire donors than the working class New Yorkers who voted for him, and the experience amidst all of that of fighting and winning for working class taxi drivers to free them from predatory debt and delivering the first free bus lines in New York City history, and in working with unions and working class New Yorkers to finally raise taxes just that little bit on Mr. Cuomo's donors to start to fully fund our public school. And more than that, I have the experience of being a New Yorker, someone who has actually paid rent in the city before I ran for mayor, someone who never came, someone who actually buys his groceries in this same city. And what all of that experience has shown me, which Mr. Cuomo can't seem to understand, is that it is far too expensive and far too hard for New Yorkers to afford to live in this city. And the definition of experience is not doing the same thing again and again and hoping for a different result. That's actually the definition of insanity.
Thank you, Mr. Mandani.
If I can, I think I was
lame
another what the Assemblyman said is he has no experience. And this is not a job for someone who has no management experience to run 300,000 people, no financial experience to run $115 billion budget. He literally has never had a job. On his resume, it says he interned for his mother. This is not a job for the first time. Any day, you could have a hurricane, you could have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic.
You can't even hit him on the nipple.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr.
People
Mandani.
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes? That's the kind of experience that's on offer here today. When I don't have an experience, I make up for in integrity. And what you don't have in integrity, you could never make up for.
He dropped 9/11.
First thing he said was totally false, as you know.
Which part was false?
During
No one's gonna
COVID,
bring him up
everyone
today.
did whatever they could in this state. And there have been numerous investigations where they've gone through it and they said we follow federal guidance. But yes, people died during COVID, and my heart breaks for everyone that that died in this state
R.I.P.
and across this nation.
But just to be clear,
That's-
just to fact check that, there is a criminal investigation reportedly underway at the DOJ about your testimony in Congress about
Yeah, that is a political issue with the Congress. They made a referral, which has gone absolutely nowhere. But there have been multiple investigations where the DOJ found that the nursing home investigation was politically motivated.
Okay, we're going to move on. We might have time to come back to it. I do need to move
Yeah,
on to
but
Mr.
may I just
Sliwa.
finish my rebuttal? But the Assemblyman still says he has no experience to do the job.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Sliwa, as founder of the Guardian Angels and as a radio host, you've been a well-known figure in New York City for decades.
He has no job
But you
experience other
also
than beating up
lack
minorities.
substantial
Oh, yeah?
management
What's his
experience. So how are you prepared to be the chief
He's a cat
executive
owner and a guardian
officer of
angel.
New York City? You have 1 minute, Mr. Sliwa.
First of all, I created the Guardian Angels to provide public safety in the subways and streets.
Tasked with
The
beating up
government
black
was
and brown
incapable
people.
of doing so. I didn't do it to get a title or a paycheck.
I did for the
Secondarily,
love of the game.
I don't declare myself to be all knowing. I will hire the very brightest and best in their field who have dedicated their lives to trying to improve the city of New York or the state or the federal government or the private sector. But what I will say is, thank God I'm not a professional politician. We have the architect and we have the apprentice of no cash bail. It's been a disaster. We have the architect and the apprentice here of Raise the Age. My own son was almost because of that in a gang attack. We have the architect and we have the apprentice of Close Rikers Island, which would just release criminals in the street. Thank God. I'm not a professional politician because they have helped create this crime crisis
Curtis,
in the
Mr.
city.
Sliwa.
And I
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
Mr. Sliwa, candidates, President Trump has expressed intent interest in this election and in all of you personally. Mr. Mamdani, the president called you, quote, my little communist. Mr. Sliwa, he said your quote, not exactly prime time. Mr. Cuomo, he has been critical of you, but said you have always gotten along. The president has threatened to cut federal funds to the city. Just yesterday, the Gateway Project, a tunnel connecting New York to New Jersey. You've all promised to resist him in some way. What would you say in your first official call to the president to set the tone for your relationship moving forward? Give me a minute for this. Start with you, Mr. Mamdani.
I would make it clear to the president that I am willing to not only speak to him, but to work with him if it means delivering on lowering the cost of living for New York. That's something that he ran a presidential campaign on, and get all the things he delivered thus far has been prosecuting his political enemies and trying to enact the largest deportation program in American history. And what distinguishes me from Andrew Cuomo is the fact that he has gotten on the phone with that same president, not asking him how to work together to help New Yorkers, or not telling him that he would refuse to back down to protect those New Yorkers, but instead asking him how to win this race. That's something I can do myself. I don't need the president's assistance for. And what I tell the president is if he ever wants to come for New Yorkers in the way that he has been, he's going to have to get through me as the next mayor of the city.
Here's why people like him. We'll give you a little time, but I'd like to answer this question as well. What the first process
First, I never hey, brother. President of the Assembly is talking. But he's a distant relationship with the truth. I would say to the president in the first conversation, look, we have had many, many battles. We fought together every day during COVID, and the battles were blood, and I'd like to avoid them. You know, if you come after New York, you know what I'm going to do. You know it's going to be ugly. And you know, my chances are almost 50-50, even though you're the president. I'd like to work with you. I think we can do good.
Almost 50-50.
Number one, I will fight you every step of the way if you try to hurt me.
Unless he weaponizes the justice system to go after the Attorney General of the state, in which case you'll issue a statement that doesn't even name the president. And no matter what you think about Donald Trump, you know that not even being able to name him is an act of cowardice. And that's what we would see from Donald Trump.
I do want to get to Sliwa, but Mr. Cuomo, I'll give you a few seconds to respond.
Why are you letting him? Why are you letting this Muslim talk weaponization of the justice system is wrong. Both sides do it. It's wrong when Donald Trump does it. It's wrong when they did it to Comey. It's wrong when Comey did it to Hillary.
Comey, Hillary.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. I want to give Mr. Stewart a chance to answer.
We don't want to hear about these people from 14 years ago.
What would you say to 17?
Well, first of all, there's high levels of testosterone in this room. I've had a love-hate relationship with Donald Trump that goes back over 30 years.
A love-hate?
But I know one thing.
You mean love-hate?
Cuomo, we have Ron Mondami.
You mean hate?
Look, you can be tough, but you can't be tough if it's going to cost people desperately needing federal funds. Ron Mondami, the president, has already said it's going to take $7 billion out of the budget right from the start if we're elected mayor. People are going to suffer in the city. People who need those federal funds. What I would do is sit and negotiate. I would say, look, Mr. President, we need that Gateway Tunnel. It moves millions of people from Washington.
4 down, 9 up. Wish me luck.
Take away the Q train project. We don't need those 3 stations going from 96th Street to 125th. It's not a necessity. Sit with the president and whoever he delegates and try to negotiate. But if you try to get tough with Trump, the only people who are going to suffer from that are the people of New York City.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa, thank you. Brief response, Mr. Mamdani.
You know, Mr. Trump is already suspending infrastructure grants to this city, and he's doing it in a blatant act of political retribution. And what it requires is leadership that will stand up to him. And I disagree with Mr. Sliwa. We do need to extend the 2nd Avenue subway to 125th Street. It was a promise made to Harlemites decades ago. It's time to actually fulfill it.
Quick question for you.
Do I get 50?
Quick question for each of you. Mr. Cuomo, when was the last time you spoke with President Trump, Mr. Cuomo? You've been asked this before, and the last time you said you couldn't remember.
I believe it was during his assassination attempt.
So last year in 2024. Mr. Sliwa, when was the last time you spoke with President Trump?
Oh, many many years ago, we were receiving awards. I was praising him for saving the annual Veterans Day parade. Those were the conversations that I had with him. Can I please respond? I was asked about the Q train.
Okay, real
Hey, I am the mayor of mass transit. We do not need a Q train. I'm in the subways every day. We have more than a capable system of transporting people.
Thank you, Mr. Sleeper.
The infrastructure needs to be
Thank you,
fixed
Mr.
in the
Sleeper.
system that we have.
Mr. Mamdani, have you ever spoken with
No
with
more
President
mass
Trump?
transit. No more trains.
Okay.
No more
There you
trains. We
go.
got too much
So,
mass
thank
transit.
you.
Too many
Mr. Cuomo,
minorities
follow-up to
walking
that.
around.
President Trump has spoken positively about you and your candidacy, even as his Justice Department, as we've noted, is reportedly investigating you for allegations you lied to Congress over your COVID record. Given that dynamic, how would you be able to stand up to this White House? How are you not compromised? And just take into account.
Four down, five up.
Now, the New Yorkers are troubled by what they view as a compromised relationship the current outgoing mayor has with the president.
Yeah, first you're wrong when you say there's any investigation.
You're
of
wrong.
me. That's not true.
Do you
And
have
Congress,
there is no
I've heard
investigation?
I hate 'em.
absolutely nothing. Congress did a press release. They said they sent a letter to the Department of Justice, which
Oh yeah, baby! Got him! Woo! Time to switch games. Win into a win. I got 5 or 6 crowns on that one if I could gather them all. Oh, bye. Got it, kitty. Yeah, I got it, kitty. I got it. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. Bye. It was fun. Bye. Yeah. I got him. I got him.
they do routinely to generate press, and that's what that is. I fought
And that's
Donald
what that
Trump.
is.
He investigated me repeatedly with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice Inspector General
Oh, I don't
said
know,
that
sir.
it
I
was
don't know.
actually politically motivated. That does not back me up. When I'm fighting for New York, I am not going to stop. And I'll tell you something else. If the Assemblyman
When
is
I'm fighting for New York, I'm
Donald
gonna
Trump
stand in
will
front of
take
this
over
microphone.
New York City, and it will be Mayor Trump
We have
who runs
to,
New York
we
City.
have to move on. Just a very quick follow-up, yes or no? You're saying unequivocally the Justice Department is not investigating you, correct?
I've heard absolutely nothing.
They could be, and you might not have heard it, but okay, we'll move on. David?
Okay, thanks, Sally.
That is
so
virtually
good.
impossible, by the way.
Okay.
So, Mr. Fuller, you did put out an ad the day after the news first broke in the New York Times that you were under investigation, calling it a political investigation, saying they were coming after you as they had to, you know, after other Democratic
It's cool
politicians.
that
You
he's
have
just
denied
debating
this
the
very
moderators
recently.
now.
In Congress was. Yes, I believe they play politics with the justice system. I believe the Republican Congress does it. I believe Donald Trump does it. I believe the Democrats do it. And that's why I think people are sick and
Thank you,
tired
Mr.
of the justice system and the politics.
If you think that there's no difference between the Democratic
Yeah, we're sick and
Party
tired
and
of
the Republican Party,
Democrats,
that's the
yeah.
candidate for you. If you think it's time to have a Democratic Party that actually stands up to Donald Trump and his billionaire-backed assault on working people,
First
that's
of
the
all,
candidate.
you're
doesn't work,
you have
Chad.
not
There's
a
the
Democrat,
captioning
right?
doesn't work.
You're not a Democrat. You're a Democrat. Vote for Kamala Harris, right?
We have other ground to cover. We have other ground to cover.
That's an incendiary charge. I want to be very.
You may have a chance to address it, but we do.
I'll be
we
very quick.
have a lot of issues to get through with New Yorkers.
I'll be very quick.
You didn't say leave it blank in the Kamala
I'll be very
campaign?
quick. I said leave it blank in the presidential primary because primaries are a place to air dissent. And like many Americans, I was horrified by the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. And if you want to look for me on the ballot, you'll find me as the Democrat.
Mr. Mamdani, thank you. Gentlemen, we have to move on. This week, the world is reacting to President Trump's Israel-Hamas peace deal and the release
Oh,
of
they're
the
gonna be.
hostages.
Would you glaze Trump?
Many are
They're gonna
cautiously
do the.
optimistic
Will you give Trump credit?
about a lasting peace.
I hate this shit.
Of course, the mayor has no direct role in foreign affairs. We certainly have a lot of questions for you about city matters. But this war has been a major topic in the campaign. And there are criticisms about your positions in the past and how you envision leading on these issues as mayor. So we have questions for all of you, but first for Mr. Mamdani, because something you said that's been generating headlines in the news today as we come into the debate yesterday on Fox News. You were asked if Hamas should lay down its weapons, key to the peace plan and ceasefire. And some say they found your answer confusing. You said, quote, I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas. It's confusing. Beyond the question of justice, safety, everything has to abide by international law. That applies to Hamas. That applies to the Israeli military. So for the voters tuning in tonight, Mr. Mamdani, what do you believe about Hamas and how lasting peace will be achieved? We know it's a complicated matter, but we'd like to give an answer to it.
Of course, I believe that they should lay down their arms. I'm proud to be one of the first elected officials in the state who called for a ceasefire. And calling for a ceasefire means ceasing fire. That means all parties have to cease fire and put down their weapons. And the reason that we call for that is not only for the end of the genocide, but also an unimpeded access of humanitarian aid. I, like many New Yorkers, am hopeful that this ceasefire will hold. I'm hopeful that it is durable. I'm hopeful that it is just. And for it to be just, we also have to ensure that it addresses the conditions that preceded this. Conditions like occupation, like siege, and apartheid. That is what I hope.
What now? From anti-Sauron behaviors to the state. Big barge.
The debate is ready. Do we acknowledge that? Three people? Mr. Slivers, go ahead.
The President of the United States should have been applauded by usual Al-Madami and you on the day that he brought together that international coalition that met in Egypt, came from the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. I certainly applauded him for bringing peace to Gaza and trying to end the hostilities and the war between the Israelis and Hamas, so there can be peace between the Israelis and peace between the Palestinians. But you seem to us being capable of praising our president, and you were capable of give credit where credit is due. He's brought peace to Gaza.
Yeah, gentlemen, we want to hear everything you have to say. We have other questions.
Yeah,
Matter
one
Mr.
American
Cuomo,
properly
please,
gives
brief
credit.
response. But yes, we have other questions on this issue that you may be able to
Yes,
address.
I did applaud President Trump and his administration. I think it was a great accomplishment. and hope the peace holds. The assemblyman will not denounce Hamas. The assemblyman will not denounce Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. The assemblyman just said in his response, well, it depends on occupation. That is code, meaning that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish state, which he has never acknowledged. That is from the river to the sea. That's why he won't denounce globalized intifada, which means kill all Jews.
Let's give Mr. Mamdani a chance to respond to that.
I want to be very clear. The occupation is a reference to international law of it, which Mr. Cuomo has no regard for since he signed up to be Benjamin Netanyahu's legal defense team during the course of this genocide. And I find the comments that Hassan made on 9/11 to be objectionable and reprehensible. And I also think that part of the reason why Democrats are in the situation that we are in, of being a permanent minority in this country, is we are looking only to speak to journalists and streamers and Americans with whom we agree on every single thing that they say. We need to take the case to every person, and I'm happy to do that, which is why I was on Fox News yesterday talking about I wish it was more like NASCAR so we could see all the billionaires' response reviews right on your suit jacket.
We're going to turn to Sandbox. Yeah, actually, this kind of flows, and then we'll go back to Melissa. Mr. Mamdani, you told NBC's Meet the Press that you don't believe it's the role of the mayor to police speech. Your words about this war have comforted many New Yorkers, but they've troubled others, and I want to ask about some of this.
And he actually
There
was
is your
pretty
recent
nice
refusal,
about
as we
it.
just discussed, to condemn the slogan "Globalize the Intifada," which many view as a
But
call
this
to
is the
arms.
real shit.
In 2017, you rapped lyrics praising the Holy Land Five. These are men who were convicted of supporting terrorism.
Focus.
How would you assure New Yorkers,
about
especially
the
Jewish
subways?
residents who
What
might
about
be concerned about this, that you would be a mayor for all?
Childcare
You have
windows.
1 minute to answer this.
Thank you for this opportunity. When I am speaking about the responsibility of leading this city, I mean leading not just those who voted for me, leading not just those who vote, but leading every single person who calls the city home. And that includes Jewish New Yorkers. And I have been so thankful for the opportunity I've had to sit with so many Jewish New Yorkers over the course of the primary and through the general. And it's in those conversations that I learned that this phrase evokes many painful memories. Memories of bus attacks in Haifa, of restaurant attacks in Jerusalem. And I heard from a rabbi about their roommate who was killed on one of those buses. And in hearing that and the distance between that impact and the rationale that some use of saying it, of speaking about the Israeli occupation of Palestinian land, is why I said that I would discourage this language that I do not use. And what I'm looking to do as the first Muslim mayor of this city is to ensure that we bring every New Yorker together. Jewish New Yorkers, Muslim New Yorkers, every single person that calls the city home, that they understand they won't just be protected, but they will belong.
Mr. Sliwa, we will get to you. First, I'm going to ask a question of Mr. Cuomo. While you are a strong supporter of Israel, you have also been slow to develop a relationship with the city's Muslim community.
Thank you, Universal
have
Power
called
User,
Mr.
for this
Mamdani
what
a terrorist sympathizer. How do you assure those New Yorkers, especially Muslims and Arabic New Yorkers, that you will be a mayor for all? You'll have 1 minute.
Yeah, well, first, I think the assemblyman created the perception himself. Why wouldn't he condemn Hamas? Why wouldn't he condemn Hassan Piker? Why did it take us here tonight for the first time for him to say it? He still won't denounce globalize the intifada, which means kill all Jews. He won't do
older
it.
Jewish
That's
New
the
Yorkers are
issue.
looking
And
up
his
right now.
divisiveness is
Can you
Hamas
please answer about your own relationship with the Muslim community? You did not visit mosques for many years.
I don't think in any way the assemblyman is representative of the Muslim community, which is a vital community in New York City, and I am very fond of, and I've been working with. I think he's playing his own politics. Many of his positions don't even follow the Muslim faith, so I see them as two totally separate.
He thinks it's a bad yeah.
You know, it took Andrew Cuomo being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the Democratic primary for him to set foot in a mosque. He had more than 10 years, and he couldn't name a single mosque at the last debate we had that he visited. And what Muslims want in this city is what every community wants and deserves. They want equality, and they want
You're
respect.
getting your ass
It took
beat,
me
dude.
to get you to even see those Muslims as part of this city. And that, frankly, is something that is shameful and is why so many New Yorkers have lost faith in this politics.
Yeah, except
you know,
that is totally presided over State of the States. We work
You couldn't
tolerance
visit a
groups,
mosque.
anti-Semitic groups,
Okay.
etc.
All right, gentlemen. Mr. Sleewood, Rosario has a specific question for you, but I'll give you a
It's
second
all right.
here.
This is what disturbs me about you. You will be celebrating your birthday this weekend. In 1991, I was in the streets of Crown Heights with the Guardian Angels for 30 days and 30 nights when the first Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City, that's right, David Dinkins, was a proud member of the Democratic Socialists of America, abandoned the Jews for 3 days. They were left to their own means. And we protected them for 30 days and 30 nights. Then your favorite mayor, Bill de Blasio, in 2019, abandoned the Jews again when they were being attacked in Williamsburg, in Borough Park, and Crown Heights.
Mr.
And I had to
Sullivan,
bring the Guardian Angels in for 30 days, 30 nights. Jews don't trust that you are going to be there for them when they are victims of anti-Semitic attacks.
Okay. Brief response, Mr. Mamdani. We have a specific
He's
question
being
for you,
truthful.
Rosarito, but Mr. Mamdani, please.
I agree,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Yeah.
One of the most meaningful experiences I've had over the course of this campaign has been the conversations I've had with Jewish New Yorkers. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me about the door that they've had to lock that they've kept open for 40 years. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me on the M57 about an apartment the speech therapist was trying to sell when a realtor told her, put the Jewish books off the table. Jewish New Yorkers who've told me about their fear in living in this city, and I will be a mayor who finally addresses that, not through the theatrics of the politics on the stage, but through action. I'll do that by ensuring that we have police officers outside the city and the
Jewish New Yorkers who feel for some reason they're going to be mayor is going to make them unsafe. They're not being. You guys, there's no Jews who are like on the fence going like, well.
Palestinian protests, and you've suggested that Mr.
It's like
Mamdani
those
uses
votes have been
languages
decided.
that is anti-Semitic. How do you assure New Yorkers that you'll be the mayor for all?
Oh my God, bro! Jesus
Oh, I've been there for all people and all times for 46 years as leader of the Guardian Angels here and around the world. Whether it is a religious violation
How are you?
of people's rights to worship as they choose in a mosque, in a
It's the
church,
kitty.
in a
You can look
synagogue,
up. You can look
or a
up.
shul,
Oh,
whether it's
hey,
because of
hello,
racial
how are
identity.
you?
Remember, in the summer of
Do you have a friends
2020,
up what 9/11
Asians
is?
were under constant attack because of the lockdown and pandemic. I don't remember Governor Cuomo coming to their aid. You were the governor then. I was out there going into all the neighborhoods, Flushing, Bayside. We were in down in Bensonhurst. We were in Chinatown itself, where Asians were being attacked indiscriminately because they were thought to be carrying COVID. We protected them then. Governor, you were not there for them. De Blasio was not there for them. We understand hate. And in order to counteract hate, you have to get the community involved along with the police to protect people when they're under siege. Jews are under attack now more than ever before.
Mr.
And I don't
do you
believe
want to
either
answer
of
this?
you have the capabilities
Thank you,
of
Mr.
protecting
Stewart.
them
Yes.
with increased anti-Semitism.
That is pure fiction. I passed the no hate in our state, the strongest hate crime law in the United States of America. We tolerate no hatred, no discrimination. We are from every place on this globe, and
Unless
we are
it's
proud
you
of
that's
it.
perpetrating it.
Excuse me, and we're tolerant and we accept.
Don't scratch
If
me.
you notice, the assemblyman still won't say he believes that Israel has the right to exist as a Jewish state. He is a divisive personality all across the
talking about
board.
Jews in New
NYPD
York,
are
and he brings
racist.
it back to
Barack
Israel.
Obama is evil, liar, and he gave the finger to the Christopher
All right.
Columbus
We're
statue.
gonna have
By
to
the
move
way,
on.
cash bail, turn the haters right
Thank
back
you
in the
very
street
much.
to
You have-
violate and attack
Mr.
again and
Stewart.
again and again.
Thank you.
You're the
I would
reason
give
for
the
that.
finger
No
to the
cash
Columbus
bail.
Day statue
I
too.
just,
Thank you. Go ahead.
there have been a number of absolutely unfounded lies that have been said. Just
Thank you.
Again and again.
Thank you.
You're the reason for that. No cash
Thank
bail.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
don't know
I
what
just-
you're talking about.
Thank you. Go ahead.
there have been a number of absolutely unfounded lies that have been said by Andrew Cuomo. I would just like a moment to address them directly. I've said time and again that I recognize Israel's right to exist. I've said that I will not recognize any
As a
states.
Jewish
I
state.
said that I will not.
As a Jewish state.
If I would be allowed to finish,
Okay.
that I would not recognize any state's right to exist with a system of hierarchy on the basis of race or religion. I have made that very clear. And part of that is because I'm an American who believes in the importance of equal rights being enshrined in every single country, whether we're speaking about Israel or whether we're speaking about Saudi Arabia. You can stand here and you can lie all you want, but New Yorkers know
Okay,
that.
we have the question.
We
You don't
want
support Israel.
to address some issues.
Do you think
All
they'll
right,
bring
and
him
we
in
have
better?
another polarizing
I think
issue
so.
that
I
we would
think
love to
he's
discuss
scrambling.
with you candidates. And let's talk about the National Guard here in the city of New York. Now let's go back to Mr. President Donald Trump. One threat hanging
bring
over
back
the
to New York.
city is
Good
the
idea.
deployment of the National Guard troops, like he has done, as you all know, in other cities. The NYPD commissioner has rejected the idea as unnecessary, but the president ordered troops to hit the streets of New York. Now, how would you respond? Mr. Sliwa, you have a minute.
There's no need for the National Guard in New York. Kathy Hochul, the governor,
Because I
when
got
we
it.
had
I'm
a
the
crime
guardian
crisis on
angel.
the subways that I'm well familiar with, being down there all the time, unlike my two adversaries. She sent 750 National Guardsmen down into the subways in 2024. Remember the horrible case of Debrina Kawan. Does anybody even say her name anymore? That woman who was set on fire by that migrant. As a result of that,
I remember.
the worst crime I've ever seen committed in the subway system. The governor did the right thing. She sent an additional 250 National Guardsmen, giving us a total of 1,000 National Guardsmen in the subway system. While our mayor, Eric Adams, was
1,000 cops in the subway system.
So Governor Hochul has responded.
Oh, wow.
I would
She's been
tell
trying to get me deported
the
nonstop.
President of the United States, since I'm familiar with cities
Oh,
all
look at that
across
ass, man.
America having guardian angels there, if you were going to send the National Guard, you don't need to send them.
It'll be
to
alright,
other
son.
cities
The guardian
that
angels
could
got it.
desperately use their help in
Thank-
dealing with their crime crisis.
Thank you, Mr.
We
Sliwa.
got it.
Mr. Mamdani,
No
how would you
need.
respond?
You know, I
Make
agree
it
with
the
Police
National
Commissioner Tish
Guardian
that we do not
Angels.
need the National Guard here in New York City. We do not need them for the purpose of safety, because if it was safety that President Trump was so concerned about, he would send them to the 8 out of 10 states that have the highest levels of crime in this country, but he won't, because they're all run by Republicans. What New Yorkers need is a mayor who can stand up to Donald Trump and actually deliver on that safety. When Donald Trump sent ICE agents on people in Los Angeles, Andrew Cuomo said that New Yorkers need not overreact. That is the furthest answer that New Yorkers are looking for. They are looking for someone who will lead, someone who will say that they will have their back, someone who will actually fight for the people of this city. And that's who I am, because I'm not funded by the same donors that gave us Donald Trump's second term, which isn't something that
New York
Andrew
Times
Cuomo
already
would say.
fact
Thank you,
checking
Mr.
him.
Mamdani.
Yeah, first, the answer in the subways is not more National Guard. I put National Guard in the subways also. It's more NYPD is the answer. But the National Guard is not, he's not sending in the National Guard to do any real function. It's control, it's power.
Sure.
He's trying to say these Democrats don't know how to run these cities, and it's a political gesture by sending in the National Guard. He has said if the assemblyman is elected, he will take over New York. Forget the National Guard.
But this is
He
the
has said, I'm
question.
going to
The
take
question
the
is,
funds.
if they order the troops to come here, what would
Yes,
you do?
well, I went through this with him. He sent the National Guard to 20 cities when I was governor. You know what city he didn't send them to? New York. Why? Because I said to him, don't you dare, we don't need it, and he backed down, and he will again.
So that proves a good relationship.
Wait a second. The president is going to back down to you, Andrew Cuomo. I know you think you're the toughest guy alive.
Curtis. Get his ass,
But
Curtis.
let me tell you something.
Get his
You
ass,
lost
Curtis.
your own
Curtis
primary,
low-key
right?
kinda
You
likes
were
Zoran, by the
rejected
way.
by
Have you
your
noticed that?
Democrats.
Yeah.
And you have a difficulty
Because
understanding
we're the same
that
guy. You
what
have
the term
man
no
control.
is. You're not going to stand up
I
to
think
Donald
he
Trump.
hates
Can I
Andrew
agree with
Cuomo
Curtis.
more than
You're
he
not
hates
going to
Zoran.
stand up to Donald Trump.
Like, he's like,
And he can't stand
at
up
his
to
heart,
Donald
he's a
Trump.
New Yorker, and so is Zoran. Andrew is
You
not.
negotiate with him. You don't fight with him because only the people of New York City will lose.
We do have stand up to negotiate.
I'd like to see a show of hands. Are there any circumstances where any of you would allow the NYPD to cooperate with the National Guard if Trump sent them to New York? Show of
9/11.
hands. Yes? No takers. Okay. Moving on. If history is a guide, National Guard troops in the city could trigger protests. And we have questions for each of you about how you would handle that. So, Mr. Sliwa, you have been arrested for protesting migrant housing and for trying to serve Mayor Bill de Blasio with court papers. How would your NYPD handle protests? And would you continue participating in protests as mayor? You have 1 minute.
Well, I've been arrested oftentimes in civil disobedience. That is a great American right. But demonstrations have a time and a place. And it used to be before Bill de Blasio, I know he was your favorite mayor, Zoran Mamdani, that you'd have to get a permit. There's a time period you were in a structured area. You get a sound permit, it could be turned around in a day.
if there was going to be
It's so
civil
funny.
disobedience,
He's
you
honestly
discussed
done.
it with the police department, and obviously you had an
They can only
opportunity
go after
of
who he's
expressing
fans of
your
to, like,
anger or
weigh
your
on their
outrage
history,
at
but not
whatever
his
it
own.
was that motivated you to sit down in the street to block traffic or block an egress. Now we have
Block an
rampaging
egress.
groups that go running through the streets, that enter all kinds of facilities and violate other people's rights. And there's no one who's willing to stop it. When I'm the mayor, there are rules and regulations. Everybody has the right to demonstrate, but you can't violate other people's rights, or you yourself must
He's
be
such a
arrested.
funny dude.
And
He's saying, "I'm not
I
gonna
would
stand up to
remove
Trump.
the
And
face
he
coverings.
doesn't care about stand up.
Remove those
He
face
doesn't care
coverings.
about anything.
Why
He's
are
just,
you
like,
afraid
very
of
issue
identifying
specific.
who
He's
you
like,
are as a
no more
demonstrator?
subway trains.
Unless
Too
maybe
much
you're an
subway.
agent provocateur
No
and
more
you
subway.
be sent
You
in
can-
here
you
to
can-
cause chaos.
Thank you. You can protest, just
The
not
next
on the
question goes to you,
subway.
Mr. Mamdani. You were arrested for
No
blocking
areas of
traffic in a
egress.
pro-Palestinian protest, and you participated in a sit-in at Grand Central. Protesters offered block streets, bridges, and hubs like Grand Central. How much of that would you allow as mayor, and what's your line in having the NYPD arrest protesters? You have a minute.
Protest is a part of what makes this city's history what it is. It is a part of the First Amendment. We deserve to have a mayor who stands up for that First Amendment, especially as we have a president that's looking to shred it at each and every opportunity. And we will continue to have protests in this city, as we should, no matter who is the mayor. And the line will be on the question of breaking the law. What we have today, however, is an attempt to intimidate so many who are looking to use that freedom of expression to share their opinions about the city and the world around them. And to be frank with you, what New Yorkers are looking for is someone who can show leadership in City Hall. Because when they don't see that leadership, that's when so many take to the streets. And if you had a leader like Andrew Cuomo, who was telling people not to overreact when they see ICE agents abducting girls as young as 6 years old to deport them, many New Yorkers will take to the streets. We deserve to have a leader who will actually be following through on the values of the city. That's the leader that I'll be.
Mr. Mandani, just a quick follow-up. If you're elected, will you still participate in protests?
No, if I'm elected, I'll be the mayor and I'll be leading the city from City Hall.
But no participation in protests, right?
The important thing is to lead from City Hall. That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. If I may respond, because I believe my name
Yeah.
was invoked.
A very brief response, and then I have a question for you.
I dealt with ICE. I stood up with ICE. I had a war with ICE
stood up
here
with
in New York
ICE.
when I was governor. And I stood them down, and they moved out. What the assemblyman is saying is, he doesn't believe in law and order. He believes in defunding the police, disarming the police, disbanding the police. That's who he is. Abolish jails.
Sorry,
I have a question for you.
sorry, there-
15 seconds
very
rebuttal,
quickly.
Mr.
No, we have to-
Maloney, and then
we
we
have to
do
move on.
just 15 seconds because we have a question for Mr. Cuomo.
Mr. Cuomo lies again and again and again. I am not running to defund the police. I am running to actually work with the police to deliver public safety. Andrew Cuomo says that he has stood up to ICE. He has not said a word about the abductions that are happening right now.
He's referring to a previous comment you made, and we will get back to this. But Mr. Cuomo, a question for you.
It's a comment he made.
I said no. Yes,
Yeah,
I understand. I said that. As governor, you put the National Guard on standby during the George Floyd protest. You didn't deploy them. As mayor, talk about how you would balance the right to protest with maintaining order in the streets.
Sorry.
The right to
You have 1
protest.
minute.
The right to protest is a sacred right. There is no doubt about that. But the law is the law also. And you have New Yorkers now who are afraid in this city. They're afraid of Donald Trump coming. They're afraid of that anarchy. And they're afraid of the anarchy in this city itself. We have to provide public safety that makes New Yorkers feel safe. Demonstration is one thing. Violating the law is something else. Blocking public transit is something else. Stopping students from going to class is something else. Harassment, intimidation, that's a hate crime. That's illegal. Enforce the law. Respect the police. They're not racists, as the assemblyman calls them. They're not a threat to public safety, as he says.
In
They're
general.
not
Like,
anti-queer.
It's already too contentious for him,
They
but like
are
he's
here
also
to protect
lost
New Yorkers,
he's
work
lost
with
the
them,
sauce.
fortify them.
Whatever
You know,
he had.
that's ironic that you
He's just
say
too
that
comfortable to
now,
I'm sorry,
Andrew
Mr. Mum-
Cuomo, because
Yeah.
when you were governor for 8 years, your parole board released 43 cop killers back into the street.
Okay,
Your father, when he was governor, released none. I knew Mario Cuomo.
Moving on.
You know Mario
Since
Cuomo,
you made it-
Andrew.
I'm sorry,
You
we have-
released cops Sliwa, don't say you're
Mr.
pro-police.
Mamdani, do you
Mr.
want to
Sliwa.
respond briefly
You know
to the comments that
Mario
Mr. Cuomo
Cuomo.
raised about things you've said about police? You can do a brief response to that.
I have been clear time and time again that as much as Andrew Cuomo wants to bring up tweets from 2020, which is around the same time that he was sending seniors to their death in nursing homes, I am looking to work with police officers, not to defund the NYPD, looking to ensure that officers can actually
doing
do
cancel
one
culture.
job
Like, my
when they're signing up to
America's
join that
9/11 is
department.
from
Not the
2019.
petty job harassment
Like,
He was
it's
specifically
all
referring to
mental
comments you made. We will come back to that, but
You
we're out
said
of
that
time.
it's wicked and corrupt
Why?
Candidates,
Why are you
racist.
bringing
we're
up
moving
all
on.
the
That's what you said.
grandparents I
Your
killed?
word, your word.
We're moving on. Thank you. Despite record
Like-
low crime numbers, polls show that crime remains a top concern for New York City voters.
We
The
gotta
three
have
of
an
you have very
expiration on
different
tweets culturally,
approaches
or
to
we're gonna
crime
go
fighting
nuts.
and how to manage the NYPD. We want to get into your plans. So we'll start with this question. It's a two-part question, but it's short.
Yeah, this
How will
is-
you make the
this
city
is
safer?
funny.
And how will you change the NYPD? You'll have 1 minute. We'll begin with Mr. Cuomo.
I would add 5,000.
He's really going to win with that one. The
Let's
Hassan
step back.
Piker
Remember what happened.
condemnation.
The far
What
left,
a
the
I think
socialists
you could
said,
run
defund
next
the
time.
police,
Your name's
defund the
gonna be
police.
so
They took $1 billion out
in
of the
New York.
police. The NYPD is
No
now
one
down
that
at one of
watches
the
this
lowest
shit
levels
knows
in
who the
modern
fuck I
political
am.
history. I would add
Yeah.
5,000 police.
When they Google my
put
name, they're gonna
1,500 in
come.
the
They're gonna
subways,
find like a
raise
bunch
the
of
starting
New York Times
salary
articles
because
that are
you can't
positive.
hire them.
So
You
they're
can't
not going to
even
be
fill
like,
a
"What's
class
this
right
guy's
now.
deal?" Yeah, and again,
And you have to add additional police
kid?
officers
That
because
kid?
the attrition rate is so high. Part of that is going to be saying to the NYPD, I respect you. I don't think you're wicked, as the assemblyman said. I don't think you're corrupt. I don't think you're racist.
Wicked
I
flag.
value you. I will have your back. I'll be a mayor to work with you. That's how you're going to get the police to apply for the jobs. And then we have to work on the relationship between the community and the police.
This
The
is
police
amazing.
can't police the community. They have to
Thank you,
police
Mr.
with
Cuomo.
the
You're up
community.
next, Mr. Sliwa.
This is amazing. I'm standing here with my two adversaries, both of whom have threatened to defund the police. You, Andrew Cuomo, during the summer of 2020, you said if you don't
I
reform
came to Missouri on a
police
brain broken
departments, how
old
are you
lady,
gonna
brought
defund
you up one time.
And you
Oh my
certainly
god, that's
said
kind
that,
of
Zohan
awesome.
Mandami.
That's kind of
We
aura.
need 7,000 police. We only have 32,500.
I create
The problem
fear
in
the hearts of
recruiting
old,
police,
elderly
which
New
neither
York
of you are
ladies.
addressing, is that their insurance was stripped from them. The state, you did nothing when you were governor,
Call this
and
San
here in the
Francisco
city,
George Floyd. How are you
2021,
familiar
the
with
city
Hassan Piker?
council and Eric Adams did nothing. They don't have qualified immunity, which you benefited from, Andrew Cuomo, with the 13 lawsuits filed against you for sexual harassment. Tom DiNapoli says we're paying out $60 million.
13
Why?
fucking
'Cause you have
sexual
the qualified
harassment
immunity as
lawsuits.
governor, and yet people have stood by
Quick
as
response,
police
Mr.
have
Cuomo.
lost their insurance
Bro,
in all
he's
civil
hitting him
service
hard right
classes.
now.
That's
If
why
it had
you
been
can't
Curtis
get
Cuomo,
recruits
Creator
in
won.
because they're not insured. I will return their qualified
Mr.
immunity
Cuomo, quick
because
response.
they need to be
Because
protected.
Zorom's not establishment, but they are.
New York City on the qualified.
So they just
insurance.
ignore him.
Qualified immunity. It's not insurance at all.
You are entitled.
Like they just completely ignore, and they ignore Zoran Mambani because he's not establishment like them. They all have sins, and they kill grandparents, and they have sexual molestation charges and shit like this. Zoram is like a non-entity to them because he's not like white, middle class to upper class, upwardly mobile, or like an elite like Donald Trump or something. They and it's weird. So they try and ignore him all the time. I guarantee they do.
Entitled to
It's
free
qual-
legal counsel, which is what he's referring to.
Yes.
You have spent.
Yes, but it's
some-
New York City that has revoked qualified immunity. It's not insurance. It's qualified immunity. It's nothing to do with insurance.
So that protected you in
yeah.
all these lawsuits.
And lawsuits because there was a report filed. I said it was political. It turned out to be political, and that's why
All
you had
13
legal
women
fees.
were lying?
Just say-
Come on,
Ooh.
Andrew. All
After
13 women
five-
were lying.
After 5 years.
Curtis is like,
Somebody-
A
come
state
on.
trooper too?
Yeah, after 5 years, 5 DAs, 5 years of
I'm going to
litigation,
move on
it
to
was
Mr.
dropped
Mamdani.
on the case.
That's why I call
Mr.
Andrew Cuomo
Mamdani, how will you
Creator.
make?
Once in a while.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Mamdani,
Yeah.
how will you make the city safer, and how will you change the NYPD?
Thank you. This is the concern
Your
for so
scale
many
has
New Yorkers,
increased.
and I'm proud to have a comprehensive plan to bring
Your
new
scale has
ideas to the city.
increased.
If you want more of the same, vote for Andrew Cuomo. If you want an actual approach to lower crime, look at our Department of Community Safety. That is something that has been hailed by experts as addressing so many of the pieces of why New Yorkers are not feeling safe today. We will ensure that no longer are police officers asked to do the job of both policing and responding to the mental health crisis. We will have dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers in the top 100 subway stations with the highest levels of the mental health crisis and homelessness. We will ensure that cops can finally go back to the response times they used to have in 2020, closer to 11 minutes, as opposed to the closer to 16 minutes today, because they won't be asked to respond to the 200,000 mental health calls that are coming in through
He
911
petrified
every
my
year.
ranger,
This is
and I'm gonna
evidence-based. It's been
die.
successful elsewhere in the country.
Because
It's
she won't
time we
shoot him.
deliver it right
There.
here in New York City.
Please
It's
shoot
time.
him one more
Mr.
time. One more
Mamdani.
time. Please shoot him one more time.
You molested.
Please shoot him one more time. No, I'm gonna die.
Question for
No.
Mr. Mamdani.
Please do something.
$1 billion out of the budget.
I can't believe we couldn't
Mr.
kill him.
Mamdani,
It's so
we're going to talk about
annoying.
disciplining police officers. The civilian watchdog that investigates police misconduct regularly recommends discipline for cops accused of wrongdoing, but the police commissioner often overrides them. You want to change that policy so that the board has final say. Please explain to viewers in 30 seconds why you believe the police commissioner should no longer have that final say.
What I've said is
30
that
seconds.
I think it's time to remove much of the politics out of the question of accountability. We have the Civilian Complaint Review Board, which, as you said, studies, assesses, and investigates into complaints of abuse and the violation of the law. And oftentimes, those recommendations are then subject to political pressures and not followed through on. I think New Yorkers deserve a system where they know it won't then be assessed once again that there's actually more to the recommendation in the investigation that's being done by the CCRB.
Okay, we're wrapping up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Mr. Cuomo, do you believe changes are needed for how officers are disciplined? And are there any powers that you would give up as mayor? You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would not remove the police commissioner from the CCRB. I'd leave it with the police commissioner. I think Commissioner Tisch is doing a very good job. I would trust her. The difference between me and the assemblyman is he doesn't like the police. That's why he won't hire more police when everyone else says we need more police. He wants to use social workers on domestic violence calls, which are very dangerous. And he's told you what he thinks. He thinks the police are racist, wicked, corrupt, and a threat to public safety.
Thank you.
Those are his words.
Very quick. Mr. Mamdani, very quick.
Look, Andrew Cuomo is a politician of the past, and all he can speak about are the tweets of the past in 2020. Those are tweets which I have apologized for to New Yorkers and police officers directly, and they are not what I am actually running on.
No,
But you're
you're
incapable
But-
of actually speaking about the platform that we have here, which is one that will keep New Yorkers safe.
Can I just quickly ask you,
It was
because I
peak
think what
woke.
some people feel they
My
haven't heard
mistake.
from you, we hear you saying that you don't believe that anymore and you've apologized. People have not heard you sort of describe the evolution of your thought, how you got from there to here.
You know, growing up in this city, I would think often about safety and justice and the ways in which that relationship has been irrevocably harmed. When I learned about the exonerated five, when I learned about Sean Bell, when I learned about Eric Garner, when I learned about Michael Brown, and then in 2020, when I wrote these tweets, learning about the death of George Floyd. And that was a moment where it felt as if the distance between these two ideals had never been further. And in becoming an assembly member and serving and representing more than 100,000 people in Queens, learning that to deliver justice means to also deliver safety. And that means leading a city where you recognize the bravery of the men and women who joined the NYPD and put their lives on the line. It means representing the Muslims who were illegally surveilled in my district and the black and brown New Yorkers who've been victims of police brutality.
So Mr. Sliwa, you've been out there, you've been on the trains, and I would like to know if you believe changes are needed of how officers are disciplined.
Let me just suggest, Zoran, what you've suggested.
Zoran.
Thank you. Excuse me. Let me just suggest what you have proposed with this new police outrage unit will endanger women and children in domestic violence situations. I know I've been involved in so many of them regarding it. They will be killed and they will be maimed. Number two, dealing with emotionally disturbed persons that I have dealt with for all my years as a police officer. You need trained effective police officers. Yes, you can have mental health workers with them, but that has been suggested. It was done before by the Homeless Outreach, and the guy you thought was the best man of
later that he was just an American citizen.
Thank you. Brief response.
To be very clear, The Department of Community Safety is not about responding to calls of domestic violence. We are speaking about mental health crisis and the homelessness crisis. These are the focuses of the work.
Okay, all right. We have other questions for that a little later in the debate, but we want to just change the pace a little bit, candidates, switching gears to the high cost
He
of
should have
living
defended
in New
you.
York City. To kick us off, we have a few
comment. That was an L,
pocketbook
not on a personal
questions
level
that
politics.
New Yorkers
Wait, he
wrestle with
did. He
daily.
said
So we
we
want to
shouldn't
know
be
how much you spend
stopping
a week
ourselves
on
from talking to
groceries.
people like
We'll begin with
Hassan
you, Mr.
Piker.
Cuomo.
He did do that.
Depends how many times my daughters come over.
He's running for mayor of New York. He's not going to be like,
listen,
Hassan
New Yorker.
Hassan Piker was
Mr. Sliwa?
pissed.
Oh, I'd say about $175 with a gallon of milk, now $5 and always rising up. Loaf of bread.
Who do you want him to say?
Simple
Be like,
loaf
that
of bread.
comment was
Maybe
awesome. I would
99
like to
cents.
do that.
Mr.
Well,
Mike,
is that
thank
what
you.
you're saying?
now.
I retract my
The
retweet
price is
of
too-
that comment. Mr.
it's
Sliwa,
too
thank you.
costly.
It's a brief answer. Thank you. Mr. Mamdani.
I actually agree with Curtis on that. It is too costly. Now that eggs are down to less than $4, though, my average spend every week is about $125, $150.
All right. Do you carry credit card debt or do you pay it off every month? Mr. Mamdani?
Also,
I pay it
I
off
low-key
every-
Mr. Cuomo.
was a bullet
Pay it off.
that he took,
Mr. Sliwa.
I don't have a credit
which
card. I have a
allowed
debit
him
card.
not to condemn Hamas.
And for the
Which
record,
is so
what
funny.
is your monthly rent or mortgage,
my
Mr.
9/11
Sliwa?
comment is reprehensible.
About
It's opposed to Hamas,
3,900.
which is the most honest
not,
form of resistance.
subsidized.
Yeah.
Mr. Mamdani, what is your monthly rent or mortgage?
$2,300.
Oh, I
Mr.
should
Cuomo.
stop giving them talking
Yes,
points.
Hassan should
put down his
that a
phone.
poor person's supposed to have. Mine is about $7,800.
We are actually getting to
We're gonna cover that subject. It's Sally.
Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit more about the runaway rent in this city.
$7,800.
Mr. Mamdani, you're pledging to freeze rent for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. That really affects less than half of all.
Okay, as the mayor, how the fuck are you getting eight times 12? What is that? That's $84,000 just for your rent. That's insane.
Rentals in the city. What is your plan for?
I mean, rent's rent. Rent is like, I mean, that is actually about right for rent in New York, yeah.
Those who aren't in stabilized apartments but are struggling to pay the rent? What are you going to do for them?
Well, I'm proud to say that I.
How
yes,
much
will
did he
freeze the rent
say?
for more than $2 million.
I want to hear what they said.
Monthly rent or mortgage.
$2,300.
Oh, I
Mr.
should
Cuomo.
stop giving them talking.
$2,300 is really a lot of money.
Yeah,
People,
you
Hassan
can
should put down his
that a
phone.
poor person's supposed to have. Mine is about $7,800.
We are actually getting to.
We're gonna cover that subject. It's Sally.
Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit more about the runaway rent in this city. Mr. Mamdani, you're pledging to freeze rent for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. That really affects less than half of all rentals in the city. What is your plan for those who aren't in stabilized apartments but are struggling to pay the rent? What are you going to do for them?
Well, I'm proud to say that I, yes, will freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants, and I will also build 200,000 truly affordable homes across the 5 boroughs over the next 10 years to ensure that tenants
Build? What do you mean build? Just don't charge as much for what's already there.
whether rent stabilized or market rate can actually have more housing such that they are not being priced out of this city. And finally, I'm also going to make it easier for the private sector to build housing in this city, because what we see today is that it's not labor, it's not materials, it's the weight that is often costing so much to actually build the housing we need in this city.
Thank you. And a follow-up for you, Mr. Mamdani. The cost of maintaining a building change year to year for landlords. The Rent Guidelines Board is legally required to consider those costs when deciding whether to freeze rents. So how can you promise a rent freeze today before ever seeing that data next year?
You know, we've seen the data time and again. It's
But
data
next
that's
year's data.
It's been data that's been overruled by mayors again and again. The last Rent Guidelines Board study showed that profits were up 12% for landlords of those units. And what did they do? They raised the rent, adding to more than 12% under Eric Adams' administration. What I'm speaking about is actually reflecting the needs of these New Yorkers and the state of the market today. These are New Yorkers who have a median household income of $60,000. We do not need to be pushing them further out of the city. We need to keep them in their homes.
Aren't you saying in that answer that you are going to prejudge? You will not have seen the data for next year and you're making a determination based on data you haven't seen.
I've seen the data year after year of the fact that salaries are stagnating,
Based on
costs
the
are up,
current
New Yorkers can't actually afford their apartments. And I will also take action to actually ensure that the landlords of those buildings
we're
can
in
better handle
time.
their costs by
It
taking
is-
on their insurance,
It is
their property
based on
taxes,
annual
and their water
data,
bills.
and you haven't seen next year's data
Mr.
yet, but
Cuomo,
we're
I
going to
do
go to
have
the
a question
Melissa.
for you on this subject. You have proposed something that you're calling Zoran's Law.
You think that Mr. Mamdani earns too much to live in his rent-stabilized apartment, though I should note that there are no income tests for rent-stabilized apartments. But critics say your plan would force people to pay too much of their income towards the rent. So if you think Mr. Mamdani is gaming the system, what about the other New Yorkers,
Yes.
thousands of them just like him, who earn similar salaries, who are living in similar apartments?
Okay, just to follow up on what Sally was saying, because she's right. This is not a new plan that the Assemblyman is talking about. It's Bill de Blasio's plan. It was called Freeze the Rent.
Oh,
Bill
so
de Blasio says
it's happened
the
before,
mayor
huh?
can't say legally he's going to freeze the rent. There's a rent guidelines board. There are certain considerations that have to be looked at. You're right, Sally.
Oh, so it's
You can't say
doable,
today
and
what
it's been
gonna
done
be
before.
before.
Thank you. So it's not
also, freeze the
communism.
rent only postpones the rent, because then you have to have an increase to cover the costs. Otherwise, the building is going to go bankrupt.
No.
And it does nothing for the
No.
majority of residents who are in these rent-stabilized units. There's nothing for NYCHA. There's nothing for homeowners. There's nothing for people in black-brown communities who are getting priced out. I was the HUD secretary. I built affordable housing all across this nation. I built affordable housing in this city when I was in my 20s. I know how to get it done.
How'd you
We'll
get that
it done
job?
On the rent-stabilized units.
How'd you get that
what I'm
fucking
saying is
job
those are the
in your 20s
precious
without any
units,
experience?
And we
You're out of
should
time. I'm sorry, Mr.
keep
Cuomo.
them for the
We didn't get
most
to the
rent
question. We
burden.
have to move on. But I have a question for you.
No, sorry, he invoked me for much of that question. Just a very brief response
He's
here.
very brief.
You know, you've heard it from Andrew Cuomo that the number one crisis in this city, the housing crisis, the answer is to evict my wife and I. He thinks you address this crisis by unleashing my landlord's ability to raise my rent. If you think that the problem in this city is that my rent is too low, vote for me. If you know the problem in this city is that your rent is too high, vote for me.
If I understand it
Sons of
correctly,
millionaires need
Zoran's
subsidized
law
housing.
would not evict Mr. Mamdani.
It would not evict.
It would apply to people applying for.
Oh my
Yes,
God!
he's
But the
making
tenant
it up.
advocate, but the
He
tenant
made it up.
advocates.
It would evict no one.
This
It would be
doesn't
an
affect.
income
We
limitation
have to move
on
on.
the
I
rentals.
have a
Mr.
question
Sliwa.
for Mrs.
This is like the
Rosarina-
spat in the schoolyard. Let me see if you have.
Mrs.
Can I please
Rosarina
ask
has
a
a
question?
specific question for you.
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about affordability
Well, you can
and
use your
obviously address
Absolutely.
that
Go
issue.
ahead.
So you proposed, Mr. Sliwa, plans that would made a point of talking about the struggle of renters and property owners. Describe your plan to help renters and landlords.
Well, first off, we have 6,000 available apartments that a mayor controls in NYCHA, and they've been empty for years. That you address number one. Then we talk about senior citizens who are living here. My whole goal is to improve and not to move. I'm concerned about the seniors, especially those that own homes. If they're 65 and make less than $250,000, no property tax, because the property tax is
Who the
way
fuck
too
do you
high.
know
We need to
65
cut it in
makes
half to keep
250
people who are
grand?
here. And then in terms of rentals, we have affordable housing that can be built in these huge skyscrapers. You see them all throughout Manhattan and in northern Brooklyn and in Long Island City, which we have 25 Empire State Buildings full of commercial space that will never be occupied for office space. We should be converting them into affordable apartments. They're in dense areas. The infrastructure can support it. I'm the only candidate here who's against the city of yes that would destroy residential
I have to
neighborhoods.
interrupt you because we have a programming moment right now. We're about halfway through the mayoral debate.
Okay.
Channel 4 and Telemundo 47
So
will
much to
return
talk
regular
about here.
programming.
Holy fuck. Okay, so this is the first half. This is the first half of the debate.
God damn.
Zoran fucking cooked. I mean, he cooked. He did a great job. Overall, I think the stuff there is just like, I get why people get so fucking annoyed when they talked way too much about Jewish people. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I think I mean it gets it out where people go, okay, enough.
Yeah,
Enough. And also to like talk about Jewish people, then like go back to affordable housing. You're like, yeah, that's probably more important
Wait,
for
are they
New
back?
York City.
Did they not take a break? What's going on? I thought they were supposed to.
MetroCard,
Never
uses
mind.
OmniPay.
Uses OmniPay?
Yeah, OmniPay, yeah. MetroCard, I mean, I have one, but I know, hanging on to the last
So
moment.
you're on the subways, Mr. Sliwa. What do you use? I'm just curious. If you don't.
OmniCard. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
I got a whole batch.
Okay.
I'm in the subways. I'm in the buses.
believe
I'm
you
in
read
the
the
express
subway.
buses. The only candidate
No,
who
we can
rides
never.
mass
That means he's
transit every day.
homeless.
When you
He
need to
has
get
to
somewhere
be
fast
himself.
and you can't take the train, do you hail a taxi? Do you use rideshare? Mr. Sliwa, what do you?
I try to avoid yellow cabs. As you know, I was shot in the back of a yellow cab in 1992 by the Gottis
You
and
got hit by a
Gambinos.
yellow cab too.
But I find my way around. If I have to, I Uber if I can't get there by mass transit.
What do you do, Mr. Mamdani, if you can't take the train?
I would either take a cab or ride a bike.
Mr. Cuomo?
I will take a cab, Uber.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Charlie. Sal?
Thank you, David.
Take a cab
Let's talk
or-
about free buses.
Cabs are so expensive. What's the ride these days? $25?
Mr. Mamdani, this is a centerpiece of your campaign.
I mean, like, yeah, where they live, yeah.
Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses. This is revenue that's around $700 million or so. That's less money than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk and $959 million in tax credits when he was the governor. And the reason that we will do so is that making buses free doesn't just provide economic relief, but also public safety. Because what we've seen is that it decreases assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. New Yorkers deserve more than the slowest buses in the country. I know that because I was on the M57 not too long ago, and its average speed is 4.9 miles
We're
an
at
hour.
time though, but the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I put
How?
forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to move along, but I just want to point out to viewers that Governor Hochul has opposed raising the income tax. But Melissa, we'll move on to your question.
Could I address that on the buses? Because half the people don't pay their bus fare to begin with, Zorhan. And so it's a complete disaster. If you have free bus fare, and the Citizens Budget Commission said just last year, 2024, $1 billion of fare evasion in all different forms. This MTA system will collapse. There's not enough money out there to make up for fare evasion. Pay your fare. If you don't pay your fare, they have fare programs for the poor and the indigent. But everybody should be forced to pay their fare.
Mr. Cuomo, you had both praise
No more
and
fare
some
evasion.
criticism
Yeah,
from
look at the
Mr.
camera. Pay your fare,
Mamdani's
that'll
free
fix the
bus
fucking
pilots.
problem.
You're sort of in the middle on this issue. What's your plan to make subways and buses more
Yeah, I
affordable?
think
30
free
seconds.
buses is a mistake. It costs about $700 million. Just
Thank
to
you
give
for
an idea
sponsoring
that
the Piker
we
Broadcasting
only raised
Service
about
charities.
500 from
3 mega legs.
congestion
Thank you for the
pricing.
50 big
It's
ones.
been done before in other cities. It was a disaster. They stopped. They basically became mobile homeless gathering places. What I say is free buses for working families who can't afford it, and free subways for working families. But don't subsidize rich people.
For working
on
families
the bus.
only.
And
How are you gonna?
it's been
Is that his
tried
pitch?
and it's
Is
failed.
that been his pitch?
Mr. Mamdani, can you just respond quickly on the point about the mobile homeless gathering places?
You know, this is something that we heard when we were fighting to make buses free in Albany when we delivered the first fare-free bus lines in New York City history. And what we saw is when we made one bus route free in each borough of New York City, there was no increase in homelessness on those buses. There was no increase in fare evasion in the surrounding area. What there was an increase in ridership of up to 38%.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
Candidates, maybe we can dig deeper on this, get a sense of how all of you would pay for your big ideas. Mr.
Oh,
Mamdani, we'll start with you.
Doing it, huh?
Obviously, we're talking about free buses, we're talking about free childcare, city-run grocery
I
stores.
gave
So
up 'cause I
essentially, you're
realized
proposing
I-
about $10 billion in
This is
new
the
spend.
community one.
And as you've indicated, you want to
And I
pay
can
for it with
manipulate the
tax
result.
increases. But as
Yes,
Sally
yes.
pointed out, Governor Hochul said no to raising income tax on millionaires. So tell New Yorkers tonight how you're going to pay for all of this in 1 minute.
Kathy Hochul
Look, a
seems
lot of
to be
people
on
have
board.
called even my
I think, with
campaign
a lot
a
of what
non-starter
Zoran
when
is
we
saying.
first began. And now I stand before you proud to be the Democratic nominee who got the most votes in city primary history. And I believe we will see the same thing with
Janice,
our
125.
push to ensure that we are taxing the wealthiest and the most profitable corporations the fair amount that they should pay. Now, there are those who will say that because it will be hard, you should give up. We saw what giving up looked like when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. He gave up on fighting for working class New Yorkers and instead caved in to his billionaire donors. And what did we get? We have the fastest and most frequent helicopter service to the Hamptons, and we have the slowest and more expensive bus service across the 5 boroughs.
But again, Mr. Mamdani, I know Governor Hochul indicated this week there may be some open windows, but more or less income tax on millionaires is off the table, according to the governor.
Look, I've said very clearly, making buses fast and free costs about $700 million a year. Making universal child care a reality costs about $5 or $6 billion a year. If you raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, you'd be raising
Okay.
$5 billion in and of itself.
I have a couple of
And
follow-ups. Mr. Sluber, you're next, but I have a couple of follow-ups.
I would just want to add one additional thing. We have also put forward a plan to save money here in New York City with $1 billion in savings through procurement reform, through following the independent budget office's assessment about hiring more fiscal auditors, and in actually collecting the fines and fees from bad landlords across the city.
Just a quick couple of follow-ups. If you could find some of the funding, but not all of it, which of your priorities would come first? What would be the first among equals that you would try to get done?
Well, freezing the rent doesn't require any fiscal infusion, so that will be something we'll be pursuing immediately. And universal childcare, after housing, is the second cost. Childcare is the second cost pushing New Yorkers out of the city. $22,500 a year is the estimate we've seen.
Okay.
That will be a priority for us.
And I just want to know if you could get the money and funding elsewhere, would you drop the call for the tax increase?
Absolutely. The most important thing is funding these agenda items. I think these are the two most important and straightforward, direct ways to do so. But if the money comes from elsewhere, the most important thing is funding.
Melissa has a question.
Mr. Sliwa, you've been talking about cutting taxes and spending. So what is your plan, and how would you pay for your programs like 7,000 more
Cuomo's going to tank, I think, after this. It was so dumb.
Well, your fantasies.
And
are never
I do
going
mean
to come
legitimately,
about
like
in
bringing
terms of
my
funding
name up as
everything
like a
you
big
want
line of
is going to be
attack.
free.
That's carrying
It's a
on.
fantasy. Let's deal with the
Demonstrated how
reality.
unserious he is.
Yeah, it's like how unserious he is. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
No one knows who the fuck I am.
You already have a plan in Boston.
So if like
where
those
you
are the most
pay
impactful moments that he
for
had, it's
taxes
him
in the future. This is a great plan.
It's him defending
in
his
which
rape
universities
allegation.
and others who have
And
bought
then
up
telling the
properties
moderator, you actually have this
that are
phone.
now
Yeah.
taken from the real estate market and taken from property tax.
offered nothing that
pay.
makes you go, "Oh,
we could raise
cool,
$1
that's a
billion
good idea."
from Columbia University, NYU, that are in the real estate business, and Madison Square Garden. Your friends, Andrew Cuomo, Jimmy Dolan, who pays no property taxes. That's how you raise $1 billion to get 700 police officers trained, vetted, and out into the streets in the 5 boroughs. And then the police will be on the subways, and they will be patrolling the old-fashioned way where they're needed, going up and down the moving subway cars where people want to see the visual protection, especially women who are being assaulted, and like we saw this morning on 86th Street, a woman with a gun to her head, an armed robbery because we don't have enough cops.
I have a question for you in this topic, and let's talk about history, because as governor, you raised and cut taxes. Now you're proposing some tax relief. What's the price tag for your proposals, and where will you get the money for example, 5,000 new police officers? You have a minute to answer.
I think the Assemblyman's whole plan is based on a myth. He's going to raise taxes. Albany's going to raise taxes statewide on corporations, but the money's only going to go to New York City. That could never happen. It's not just that the governor wouldn't support it. It's impossible. He said he's going to raise the taxes the same as New Jersey, corporate tax. No, it would be double the tax. You would see New Yorkers on 995 fleeing to Florida. We would be alone. So you have to be realistic with revenue. You have a $115 billion budget. You have to go through that city budget and find savings. I started the state, which is double the budget of the city, at a $10 billion deficit. I closed it and added services. And we can do the same with New York City.
New York is already more expensive than these other places. People still choose to live there because it's fucking New York City. It's bullshit.
There would be whatever additional spending would be revenue.
People go to Florida when they're ready to go to Florida.
It's impossible. You got to cut taxes for people to stay here.
Thank
the
you.
Corporations are not going to stay here. They're being
People
lured
try to do that with
south
and they
to
fucking
cities
run
that are more
back to California.
You got to cut the property tax, income tax for those who are 19 to 28 who have skill levels if they go to school here.
Thank you.
Andrew Cuomo thinks it's all right to spend $60 million to fund his legal defense from accusations of more than a dozen women of sexual harassment. But if I say we should spend the same amount of money on delivering cheaper groceries in this city through a pilot program, that is unfathomable.
Quick, David, I have a right to respond.
Yes, quickly.
First, I did not bring those lawsuits. That was brought,
against
by
you.
the Attorney General.
They were brought against you.
Political.
Ah.
it's
this
political
year.
and
Yes,
those
and have been
harlots
dropped
are
from the
lying.
case.
Come on.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
This is a
And
great debate
what
performance.
the Assemblyman doesn't say is all this money that he
Curtis
wants
was
to
smart
pass.
to bring up just
The one thing he did do
say
is
13
he voted
to
for a
remind
pay raise
people.
for himself.
Yeah.
They're the highest paid
We have to
legislators
take
in the
As a
United
fact
States.
check, I did ask
And
the
he has
state
the worst
controller's
attendance
office
record.
this week. I did ask the state controller's office this week. The total was above 60 million. But just those sexual harassment cases to defend Governor Cuomo and his staff was about $21
Sorry, it was the
million.
sexual harassment and
Just want to
sexual
clarify
cases.
because you said 60, but
All right,
on those cases it was 21.
Okay, thank you. We have to talk about quality of life in the city.
Coach Bell, you see,
Let's
it
turn
wasn't
everyday
that
life
much.
in the city and some issues the mayor can directly impact.
3
We start with a
million a
couple
woman.
of questions about 311. The number New Yorkers call or text for non-emergency help. First off, have you ever called 311, and if so, for what?
You can do that
Mr.
like you're
Montgomery?
putting out like
I called 311
luggage, like,
for issues with my heating in my apartment, and I've spoken to New Yorkers time and time
This is
again
bread and butter.
who are frustrated by
He's
the fact that
Mr.
they can track
311.
their Uber
He's the
Eats
type of
block
motherfucker
by
who will be
block,
on the
but when
other
they call
side.
311 for them to come to their apartment, it's just a question of hoping and praying
Yeah.
that they do. There's no actual appointment. That's something that we would change.
All right, Mr. Sligo, have you ever called 311?
You know, there used to be that song 911 is a joke by Public Enemy. 311 is a joke. You can call it over and over and over again and
Have you
never get a
ever?
response.
Have you?
The analytics are when the operators talk to you
Mr.
as I
Sligo,
talk to them.
have you called?
Yes, I've called them many times. and
Call
got
them
the
right
wrong
now.
response.
Call them right now, you idiots. Pick up a cell phone, call them right now. You won't because you're full of shit, all of you.
So I actually made a call to 311 myself to see.
Do it right there on fucking camera. Do it right there. Do it right there. You
I
just
was,
shut the fuck up about
dropped
things you won't even
twice.
do.
Then they were going to send someone to find help a homeless woman in distress, and no one showed up.
You're all expressing frustration. Last year, 311 received 38 million contacts from New Yorkers, from
God
calls
damn.
to the website. Wanted to know if you had a sense across 5 boroughs what the top 2 categories of complaints were. What do you think they were, Mr. Sligo?
Potholes, constantly potholes. People's undercarriages ripped out, ball
Another one?
bearings,
Second one?
alignments.
Second one, top 2?
Rats.
Rats. Okay.
Oh, the city is flooded with rats.
Mr. Cuomo, what do you think the top 2 complaints were?
Homeless and trash rats.
All right, Mr. Mamdani?
There was housing and noise.
Okay, so the answer is noise and illegal parking. And we're going to stick with quality of life.
Noise.
Rosalina?
That's right. Let's talk about noise candidates because
Ding,
they
ding,
fall
ding.
into
Rats
these
is
2
crazy.
categories.
Then
First of
call
all, is the
311 if I
residential
saw
one,
rats.
that's the neighbors and the loud music. And the second one is
The
the
picture
street
here.
or sidewalk, everything with the loud construction and workers outside.
Before you started working
So,
on it,
Mr.
my
Cuomo,
head's
as
tiny.
mayor, what can you do to help the city that never sleeps get a little bit of rest, Mr. Cuomo?
Yeah, look, I think if the
What is
311
this?
system worked
What is
well,
this line of
if there was
questioning?
actually contact
As a
with
New Yorker, I'm
people,
like,
I think
oh,
New
tell me what we're
Yorkers
doing to
would
fix
get it. I
this.
think New Yorkers would.
What can you do about our sleep? And it's
I
like,
think we have
what?
to change the ethos in this city, the ethic in this city. Right now, it's toxic, it's divisive.
How do you see how this
Everyone's angry at everyone. I think when we have public safety that's functional again, and New York.
When will that happen? You guys stole all the money.
I think they would be more cooperative.
Yeah, right.
Thank you very much.
There's no
M-
proposal.
Ms.
That's like
Mr.
saying
Sheila,
we're going to wake up and
how
not
do
be
you
in poverty
quiet a little bit the
tomorrow.
city that never sleeps?
In the outer boroughs, I see problems all the time, quality of life issues. 18-wheel tractor trailers, RVs parked everywhere. Garbage that's not picked up and collected. In the city, we've seen trash cans taken away by the sanitation department, Jessica Tisch, when she was the commissioner. The quality of life has diminished noticeably. So naturally, people are going to revert to 311. But it's important that a mayor be able to provide services to all the people. And they believe if quality of life is diminished, the next stop is sell your house and leave the city. And my goal is to improve and not move.
Mr. Mamdani.
But these guys see every
What we've
public
seen is one of the biggest sources of
amenity as
noise
like
in
a
the city is
homeless
from
shelter.
congestion.
And so
And
it's
with
just- we
the
can't do
implementation of
anything.
congestion
it's so
pricing,
fucking
we've actually
annoying.
seen
Like,
noise
even the
complaints
Fast and Free
drop
buses.
in the congestion zone. and find ways to ensure that we have reduced congestion across the city. And one of the ways is by making the slowest buses in America ones that are fast and free, so that New Yorkers can not only live a life of excellent quality of life, but also be able to get around the city without having to worry if they have $2.90 or soon to be $3 in their pocket, which is already out of reach for 1 in 5 New Yorkers.
Shit, that's cheap. That's cheap. It's been $5.10 in Denver since I was, well, I don't know, 36 or something like that. That's cheap. It's been $3.75 to $5.10 if you're doing the full light rail pass, like, or whatever, the day pass. Yeah, that's just been like that for us for like, I don't know, 7-8 years.
We have here the author of congestion pricing, and we have the apprentice of congestion pricing.
Okay, we might need
the only candidate who's opposed to congestion pricing is led storefronts closing because they don't have
owning that?
Move on, otherwise we might have to place a call to 311 without candidates going over there a lot of time. Okay, so we're going to move on to
don't worry.
We're going to move on to illegal parking plaques in many neighborhoods. Recently, Councilmember Lincoln Ressler released a study that found 450 vehicles parked illegally during the day in downtown Brooklyn, many with fake or government placards. That's just one snapshot of the city, but
fake or government placards that they're just like, bust me for this is still cheaper than what you charge me for parking. They're like, bust me for that. That ticket's like $115, and then I won't do it for like a year or something. But oh my god, they're probably right too. It's like the amount of fucking money they'd save on parking is so much more.
you hear similar complaints everywhere. So how would you fix this specific situation? You'll have 30 seconds, Mr. Slee will begin.
Well, obviously, placards have been abused consistently. You have people who've created fake placards. Not only that, you have people with fake license plates, paper plates. This all violations against the Department of Transportation rules and regulations of where you can park a vehicle. There's just no enforcement. And that's because we don't have police. We have these e-bikes going up and down. We have the motorbikes. They're not following rules and regulations. They should be licensed. They should have a way of being identified.
All right, guys, I'm tired. It's 11:15. This is a little bit earlier than I normally do, but it's a Thursday night. Tomorrow's the weekend. I'm just going to rather be rested and stuff, so I'm just going to go to bed. Thank you for watching the New York mayor debates with me and all this other stuff, and I'm going to go to bed now. Oh, I'm dead. Nice. This music is like seeping through. It's weird. Okay, came in, and this is fun. I'm just gonna let this, are we docked? Yeah, I'm like docked right now, so we're unlikely to be fucked with, I think. Or at least I think. It appears that, oh no, Peregrine's with me, yeah. Okay, so there we go. 2 million. Yeah, save, and I will just let it run for tonight, and I'm going to go to bed. I love you guys. Thank you so much. You've been watching Skycatlive. I did a music video today. I took a trip to the dump. Like, I've worked all day. I did family dinner / cooked my own dinner, and then and it was just kind of a weird day. So I'm going to bed, and I love you guys. Just a long, strenuous day, and I'm going to go to bed and be up to do... Oh, and I walk 5 miles, and I'm going to walk 5 miles tomorrow, too. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to bed. I love you guys. I'm going to stop recording here, and...